evening, everyone. Welcome to round 3 of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series here for Split Blue and Split Red from Donington Park. 2.5 miles of utter brilliance. My name is Alexis Bold, and joining me tonight for Split Blue is George Cook. How are you, Cookie?
Yep, doing very well. Thank you, Alexis, and a pleasure to be back here with Split Blue once again. It's going to be a nice 60-minute race here at Donington. As you said, 2.4 miles, a beautiful track here in Leicestershire in England. I love it. I think the one thing we're missing is a little bit of rain. Nice and dry out there, but we've got qualifying coming up now and looking very much forward to it.
Yes, once again, ACC is far from realistic as we do not have rain and we are in the United Kingdom.
Bizarre, isn't it? It doesn't actually feel quite right, but maybe we'll get used to it one day. Maybe. But welcome into everyone in chat, watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Lovely to have you all in here. Hope you're looking forward to a great evening of racing. We've got Split Blue, of course, and then Split Red also coming up as well for your viewing pleasure. So make sure you stay tuned, grab your beer or your tea. Your cup of tea might be appropriate here, and get buckled in for what's going to be a great evening of racing.
Yes, grab a cup of tea or a beer if that's more your thing, and let's get right into things.
I've seen some pretty good times here in practice. Had a few up in the 25s. Got Mia Rose, of course. She's leading us away in the pro category at the moment, sitting quite handily after a good couple of races at Brands Hatch and Misano. Then you got Ashton Reynolds, a battle for the ages between those two, and then Joshua Vediger sort of tagging onto the back of that three-way battle for the pro lead. And you got Breno Ellis, who's been a bit of a talking point for us, Alexis. He's charging away in the lead of the Silver Championship at the moment.
Yes, the class there shows air, but rest assured, Breno is a silver class driver and he is about to cross the line now. Goes up to P3, that's a very good time from Breno Ellis and goes faster than both Oliver and Rose. McDonald there in the Ford Mustang, a new entry into the ACC Sprint Series, the Ford Mustang. Currently goes P4, about 4 tenths off of what Josh Vediger has done, which was a 26.8. That's a pretty solid time from Vediger so far.
Good start. I mean, optimum track conditions out there, 19 degrees Celsius on track, so it's reasonably average temperatures out there. Sort of a standard sunny day in England at the end of the day, but no wind, so I'd say we're going to see some times drop pretty rapidly. Joshua Vediger and a 26.8, not going to last too long, I think. And yeah, we can't go too far without talking about the Mustang. We're even going to go on board with Tom McDonald, who has switched over to the Mustang. We took a week break because we had the big patch come in, and you just know that sometimes things go wrong, people don't get the right updates at the right time, server issues, etc. So we took that week off, and I think now everyone's sort of ready to drive these Mustangs. Maybe they found a way to dial it in properly. It's quite a beast. I had to go with it a couple of when it came out, and I really liked it. I have no idea what I was doing with the tuning. I was changing things, and it seemed to get better and better despite what I was doing.
Yeah, well, from what I heard last week in the little Mustang race we ran at Mount Panorama Thursday last week, the traction control actually works in this car.
No.
From what I've heard, it actually works, and that is Tom McDonald straight to the top of a 26.5. Did get a little bit compromised by the Bentley there. Nice seeing a Bentley in this split. That's Oliver with an invalid time, and he's gonna pull it up a little bit. Here's Josh Vediger on another hot lap, 3 tenths up on his previous best.
Oh, we've got a comment on the track already. Donington fills me with fear from 00 Raven. Yeah, indeed. I mean, I haven't driven the track a huge amount, so I'm not the most experienced person to be talking about Donington, but I rapidly began to enjoy myself. I think there's a few curbs out there that are a little bit scary. Maybe
the invalidations there that are catching a few out. Mia Rose getting invalidated, Joshua Vediger getting invalidated. Here's Horsborough. He
the S's
manages to negotiate it far better, but yeah, that's a car who's just gonna look very similar to Horsborough. Just wondering what was going on, but no, he's still going. Finds a fair bit of time going in to the Melbourne hairpin, but loses on the way out. So it's going to be a slight improvement, but I don't think it's going to improve his position. Currently sitting P11 behind Mia Rose, who very disappointed so far of how the session's gone for her.
Yeah, too right. We've always got to navigate Goddard's at the end there. Looks like he's lost a bit of time on exits and not going to be particularly happy with that. Through Melbourne hairpin we go for the Porsche. The 101 car, Chris Murphy, now making his way through. He's also sort of sitting there in the Silver Championship contention. Found a little bit of time, but losing it through the apex and might bode well for the exit. Yeah, gets the power down, very nice. back up to half a second, and across the line he'll go to P1 with a 26.4.
Unlike Ansett actually is nowadays, he's gone straight to the top. And here comes Johnston, goes ahead of Breno Ellis. I believe Johnston's also would be a
silver driver,
silver
yes.
class driver as well, yes. So bit of a fight going on there. Here's Vediga and Rose. They're both on very good laps so far.
Might be just dipping into the 25s if she can get that, but it looks like, well, Joshua's not up by a huge amount. I'm not quite sure how much Mia's up by now. Maybe a little bit, finding a little bit of time. The BMWs and the Lambos are pretty strong here. It does seem to be. Will Josh find a bit more time?
Excellent exit out.
Beautiful power down by that BMW. Gonna gain time on exit. Let's see. No, loses a little bit. Runs a little bit wide of the apex as well. So we'll go up. Mia Rose. Let's see what this is. Straight to P1 and straight into the 25s. There we go. Knew it was going to be a matter of time.
Yeah, it had to happen eventually. She just had to get herself acclimatized, and she's right up there now. Here comes McDonald once again. He's 3/10 up, coming up to Goddard's. Takes a early apex to get another apex, a double apex through Goddard's. Now coming up to the line, up to P2. That's really good for McDonald.
Solid work. We saw the Pirelli advertising board being taken out there. A little bit of a protest maybe. Joshua Vediga's going to go again in his Coke Zero livery BMW. And yeah, as you said before, those S's really catching people out. Everyone's trying to throw the car through there, carry as much speed as possible. Obviously, that's the goal, because you don't need to sort of do too much through there, and you can give them the power reasonably early, but yeah, 1 millimeter too much. See how Joshua navigates the S's. Let's go through.
Oh, that was
very
beautiful.
Stable. Yeah, stunning bit of work there from Josh.
That was about as good as you could get through the S's. Now into Melbourne Happy. He did gain a fair bit of time coming out of here in his last lap, and he does lose about a 10th on the exit, but he's there or thereabouts. If he finds time on the exit of Goddard's, he might be able to challenge Mia Rose and dip into the 25s himself. The exit, it's all right, but it's going to be close. Not quite enough to beat Mia Rose, but enough to dip into the 25s. A 25.960. Wow.
Very impressive. 200s in it. There's nothing in that. Just needs to find a little bit of extra time somewhere. Ashton Reynolds now coming through down towards Starkey's Bridge and up towards McLean's. We'll keep an eye on him. He's in a Ford as well. 3 Fords in the top 5. Jamie Comboy moves up to P5 as well. And we've got a Lamborghini leading us away from a BMW at the moment. That's how things go in terms of manufacturers. The Mustang looking quite strong. You can sort of do a little bit of drifting with it if you really, really want to. It's got a big engine in it. And let's see, 4/10 up for Ashton at the moment. Expect to see this man potentially on the front row.
The Ford fans and supercars would be wishing that the Mustang was like this. Here comes Reynolds through the Melbourne hairpin. He's up a fair way, and he's still finding time. This is going to blow Mia Rose and Joshua Vediga out of the water if he holds it together here through Goddard's. Gets the early apex. No, he just goes for the mid apex. That's an interesting line, but it seemed to work for him. 6/10 up, straight to the top of a 25.7, if you don't mind, Ashwin Reynolds.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a stunning time there. And, oh, well, we might have to talk about this livery, Alexis. We might have to make a few comments on this one. But, yeah, pretty much DSQ right there. But I quite like it. I think it looks kind of funny.
It's funny, but it's just wrong.
That's going to touch a lot of people up the wrong way, I suspect. But I'm sure we'll be keeping a close eye on Payne and his antics throughout the race. Now to another white and red livery that isn't related to very, very disrespectful things. Chris Murphy, he's up on his time. Found a little bit on the exit there. Goddard's. This is a little bit too. Does stay in P5 at the moment. Not a bad lap from him at all. Pushes Jamie Convoy down into P6. Now over to Pat Oliver. Let's see what he can do in a Lamborghini.
Yes, Oliver currently sitting just inside the top 10 by about 0.2 of a second. He's currently up by about half a second here, and is still finding time as he runs through onto the Starkey straight. Now into the S's. Can he nail the line through here. He's probably a little bit conservative on the entry, so he's lost a 1/10 of a second there, but he's still up by a fair chunk, and he'll be relatively pleased with the lap so far. Into Melbourne Hairpin, the car struggling for grip, but he gets a really nice exit. Has already found that 10th right back that he lost through the S's. Now into Goddard's. What line did he take? He takes the double apex by the looks of it, and that is a really good line. Loses it on the exit, but up to P7.
Looks like he must have widened that line up on a previous lap, because he gained so much on the apex and just lost it on exit. Was just trying to hold the apex that time. Didn't really work out for him too much, but still up on his time, so you got to respect it. On board with Small, one of the only McLarens out there. Probably not the most favorable car at a track like this at the end of the day, but we only got 2 minutes 50 seconds left on the qualifying clock now. Found 2/10 so far, as Small as he comes into the last corner. Takes a wide entry as well, gets the power down beautifully, gains a little bit of time. He'll come across the line, 3/10 up and up into P11, just behind Ashley Johnston in the top 10. Not too bad. I have to admit, those last two corners, when you get a good run through the S's and then you've got Melbourne and Goddard's to navigate, just puts the fear in you.
Oh yes, definitely. It is one of the most stressful things around here, as Lel gets it nicely through McLean's into Coppice onto the Starkey straight. He's 2/10 up. It's been a solid lap so far. So we're moving up one position up in the P8. What's his run through the S's? That's deep. Oh, just keeps it within the limits, but that's all the time gone.
Oh, that's what a shame that was, as he really had the time on the board, but unfortunately for him, yeah, just, you know, that entry can be so tricky. You want to be off the brakes as soon as possible. You want to roll it through the corner, but a little bit too much speed, and you're going to find yourself over the curb and really in a trouble spot. Brooker up to P14 in the Aston Martin there. We have a lot of comments in chat as well talking about the Holden livery on a Ford. And we have been informed there's going to be tea and biscuits served as a support group function after the race in the club rooms. So make sure you go and attend that if you're feeling a little bit offended.
Yes, and I will most certainly be there no matter what, as we watch Bruno Ellis through the S's. That's a little deep, but he's kept within the bounds of the track. Lost a bit of time on the exit, just running that touch deep. Now into Melbourne Hairpin on the brakes hard, and it looked like it was a pretty solid run, but again loses on the exit.
Didn't seem to get the rotation that time through the Melbourne Hairpin, so the power was just have to be fed on quite slowly.
Wide
and deep, but he might be able to get a little bit on the exit here, just a little bit, a little whiff of time, goes up to a 10th, but that's not going to be too much of an improvement there. Still P8 for him. Scanlon now looking to get up into the top 10. What can he do? He's in the last corner now through Goddard's. We go 40 seconds on the clock. A number of cars already jumped back to the pits. That's not going to be an improvement for Scanlon, so he will remain in P11 for the beginning of this race.
Because there's still 30 seconds, so he will have one more time lap in it, and it looks like he was going to keep going. Lel up 3/10 coming out of the Melbourne Hairpin. Again, loses on the exit. So easy just to lose time either on the entry or on the exit. There he runs a wide entry into Goddard's, and it gets him a little bit on the exit, not too much, but it's up to P8, so it's all very, very tight in there. Now here is Vediger. No one's been able to catch Reynolds just yet. Reynolds is still on top with 25.7. Vediger's done. Nero's the only one that can catch Reynolds here.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 3 cars in the top 3, all in the 25s. Everyone else is in the 26s and below. Tom McDonald in the pit.
Rose is done.
Vediger. Rose is done. Yes, she is. She is in the pit, says nope. And she'll have to sit there for...
Hang on a minute. We may have a little bit of a surprise here. Breno Ellis is up 0.4 of a second. If he finds a little bit of time through Goddard's, he might be able to string a surprise and potentially get on the front ruts. Wide entry. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I think it'll be P4 for him. And it is P4. That's awesome stuff from Breno Ellis.
Oh, the magic number 007 comes up on my timing screens once again. A 1 minute 26.007. Nearly joins that 25 club, but not today, unfortunately. Horsburgh now going through in towards Goddard's and the 254 McLaren. Let's see what he can do. He's up nearly half a second, nearly over half a second. Nice line through Goddard's, gets on the power nice and early, maintains the gap, so he's going from P15 all the way up into P13 as he comes across the line, and qualifying time is now over, so you are seeing the last laps on qualifying, and we go to our starting grid, Alexis.
Wow, what a session that was from Split Blue. hats off, and it was Reynolds who took top honors in the Mustang. The Mustang's first split blue race, and it's taken pole position there. That is excellent stuff from Ashlyn Reynolds. Joshua Vettiger there in the Coke Zero entry there alongside Reynolds. So we had Mia Rose, our current split blue leader, from a very, very good performance there in P4 from Breno Ellis. Then you had McDonald rounding out your top 5, and we had Murphy and Comboy there, and I think, what's that in P8? Is that would be Paddy Olver there in P8.
It is indeed.
And then we've got Aston Martin there. I'd dare say that, well, 2 Aston Martins there on the 5th row of the grid. I'd say Lell and Johnston.
Spot on. Yep. I think we've got 3 or 4 Astons out there, actually. So to see 2 white Astons next to each other, quite cool. Scanlon, P11, followed by Small in the McLaren on your right-hand side. And another McLaren, Horsburgh, we saw him just at the end, gaining a little bit of time, going from P15 to P13. Bendig, we don't talk about that. No, stop it.
Beautiful,
yes, no.
beautiful.
Absolutely abhorrent. There is the other Aston Martin, the 83 car of Chris Brooker, Brent Sykes on your right-hand side. That's a really nice livery, that is. I think it's a KA livery. Cameron Thistlethwaite there as well. So it's a 454, which is doing a little bit of a focus on that. Then Cameron Thistlethwaite, P17, Piper, P18. Lee Perkins takes a P19. Very nice job there in the Ferrari. Joe Spenceley in P20. Ashley Vettiger, father of our second place sitter at the moment. Nia Wood, Aidan Payne, and Kieran Reid to round out the grid. We don't look at that. Aidan Payne, you are causing some pain to some viewers out here, but you are causing a lot of entertainment, I think, as well. So enjoy, everyone. Enjoy the close-up. Feel it. That's what you got to do. You got to feel it.
Yes, that's it. What a brilliant array of cars we've got in this field. I mean, a couple liveries that we want to speak less of, but overall, really, really colourful, beautiful grid that we've got here in Split Blue, as you'd expect from this community.
Oh yeah, beautiful work on the liveries. I'm not artistically inclined whatsoever, so when I see the liveries, I go, wow, how do you do that? It's quite impressive. But yeah, I think this is also why I'm not going to get the upgrade to race director at any point, because I will be handing out DSQs.
Yes,
for notable people, unfortunately for them.
And I think Lucas Keys has his opinions there. HRT at the back, as it should be.
Yes, we might see some overtaking maneuvers as well, and I don't know what's worse, being overtaken or being overtaken by a Ford with a Holden livery on it.
Yes.
You just have to close your eyes as it happens.
Yeah, you might as well just drive blindfolded.
Yeah, no, you get overtaken by that guy, just go, I'm just heading to the pits. That's it, I'm done.
Yep. That's
Game
it.
over.
We're going out on our formation lap here. We've got quite the race here for you. What are your predictions for this one, George?
I do feel like Mia is going to jump up a little bit. Ashlyn Reynolds, if he gets away really nicely in the Ford, does well over the longer run. I haven't seen it done a proper longer run. I did obviously watch yesterday's splits. Didn't see too many Fords going particularly well, but that said, Ashlyn Reynolds, super fast guy. So I would probably put a prediction here on Mia, maybe getting the jump on Joshua Vettiger in that Lamborghini. Did look very solid. But yeah, I think Ashlyn Reynolds, I think it's really his race to lose today.
Yeah, I tend to agree. However, I'm going to go for a little bit of a out there pick, and I'm going to say McDonald takes this one. I think there's going to be a bit of action up front, and McDonald might prevail in it all.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting prediction. It could well come true, to be fair, because yeah, we know that Tom McDonald is a very fast driver as well, and if he does get ahead of you, good luck getting past him. He is a staunch defender. Yeah, and especially at a track like this, as you said, easy to run wide on the circuit, overtaking opportunities, come more toward the end of the track. So the first few corners, I mean, all the way running through towards the cleans, going to be really, really tricky for the drivers, I think.
Now, is that tyre bollard going to disappear, or are the drivers going to respect it? Well, there's a couple getting close to it, and right now, it's still there.
Oh, it survived. It won't survive past that one, though, let's be honest.
Looks like I've got a few people on my side as well. Sean Perry, McDonald to win. Yumpa Loompa saying agreed. Ooh.
Okay, well, you've got the votes there, so we'll have to see how we go. We're going to go side by side. 60-minute race, of course, and one mandatory pit stop. Looking very much forward to this. Take it away, Alexis.
Yeah, so we got Reynolds from Vedica, Rose, Ellis, McDonald, Murphy, Conboy, Oliver, and Leld and Johnston. Your top 10 will be coming up to the green flags very, very soon to start. Hour-long race here, 1 mandatory pit stop, and we are underway, and it is a very, very good start for me. Rose, there's a little bit of contact with Vedica, and it looks like McDonald had a nice jump, tried to look up the inside, couldn't make anything of it. There's more contact to me. Rose loses the car a little bit, manages to save it. Now, look at this calamity. Reynolds is away and clear, but Vedica is going side by side. McDonald, and McDonald can't make anything happen, but Rose now sticks her nose up the inside. So it's all happening out front. McDonald off the road. Now here comes Conboy on Mia Rose just being a little bit boxed in there. Is that in the background? That is Brenno Ellis going off the road. You'll have to rejoin safely. Pat Orba trying to get up the inside of Conboy, and Mia Rose up the inside of McDonald and trying to get back up into P3, and she does so, and now there's contact between the Fords, and that is Conboy half run. He does manage to save it. That is great avoidance there from Pat Oliver, and he moves up into P4. But what a start to this race we had, and unfortunately Brenno Ellis has come all the way down to P17, and there goes the ball out. Ashton Reynolds taking no prisoners there, and it's gone.
That's perfect. That's exactly how you'd want a lap 1 to go. Lots of drama there to unpick, of course. We'll see some replays of the restart. Chris Murphy under attack now from the BMW behind. A lot of position changes through there. We did see more contact. That's Pat Oliver, and that's an Aston Martin as well. That's Lel. Oh dear, so they have come together, and that is not ideal for them at all. That's going to elevate a few up the positions. Chris Murphy up to P5, Scandon in behind. Conboy's dropped to P7, and there's actually Johnston taking advantage of it up to P8. Small got up 2 positions at the start to P9 in this race, and that was so close at the beginning for Mia Rose and Joshua Vedica coming together on the first turn, nearly coming to blows. Luckily, they both caught it and got it back on track, and I have to take my hats off as well to Jamie Conboy. What a save that was.
There were so many fantastic saves by these drivers. It shows the skill level of Split Blue, but you got to feel disappointed for Paddy Oliver, as there's a little bit of a tap. That was with Paddy Oliver and Brenno Ellis, so just a little bit of a love tap there going through Starkey's Bridge. But yeah, Paddy Oliver made a great start, and then just, I'm not sure what happened between him and Lel, but he'll be absolutely having a fit there. He had a brilliant start, and he's unfortunately not been able to capitalize. Now here comes Conboy on Scanlon, who's also had a fantastic start. Scanlon up to P6. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact going into the chicane, and there goes Scanlon off the road. Conboy will blend out of it. He knows probably made a little bit of a mistake there, but that might open the door for Johnston up the inside. That's going to be a bold move if he's to make it. Does have to go off the road, but there's no contact.
Oh man, he got his nose cut off there. Convoy saw that coming, said, no, you got not got enough space. I've got right to the corner. I'm going through it. Here we go. Here's the replay of what happened at the Melbourne corner. In we go. Oh dear. Yeah, and then Lel clips the back of him as well.
That's
just
to
send. Yeah, that's unfortunate, and that has caused quite the Constantina effect. You know, you hate to see it, but this is lap 1 at Donington Park at the end of the day with Reynolds running away with things. It's just the way it is.
Well, you say running away with things, but Mia Rose has the fastest lap now, and that gap hasn't really grown too much since the start of the race, so it's going to be interesting to see how things play out from here, but it looks like it could be a 3-way fight out front.
Yeah, it tends to be what we expect in this split, let's be honest. Mia, Josh, and Ashton have been going at it this entire season so far. And you're right, it was actually on my timing screen, it says 1.5 seconds, but on the boards here, 1.2 seconds. So not running away with things as much as I was thinking at all. And yeah, Mia's going to be right back in it. 26.4 was that lap there. So that is not bad race pace at all. If she can maintain that, she'll be right on the back of that Coke Zero BMW within a couple of laps, I suspect.
Yeah, you would think so. I'm just saying Scanlon is doing a very nice job at the moment, holding on to that P6. As we watch a bit on the start, that's McDonald trying to dip up the inside, and here we can see the contact between Rose and Vedica. It looks like Rose just got a little bit wide there. Wasn't anything to do, but again, looks like McDonald had to blend out the throttle a little bit to not hit the back of Josh Vedica, so McDonald could have very well found himself further up the road had he not had to cut out of it, but for now, he has to hold on to P4, and he's got a nice buffer, and he's got about 3 seconds in front, 4 seconds behind.
Yeah, it did look like Vediger took an initial line through the corner, giving space, but then had to sort of adjust the line mid-corner, come back in a little bit. I don't think Mia was maybe expecting that 100%. Maybe should have, but it's a tricky one because it does tighten up a little bit, and then that exit curve does suddenly disappear, which you just seen it on screen as well. But yeah, McDonald as well, not doing too badly at all. Predictions maybe not going quite your way just yet, but you never know what happens at the top 3. They can it can get quite spicy up there, so we'll just keep an eye and see what happens, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen a lot of spies happen between the front drivers, so already in this race even, so anything can happen. Here comes Brennan Ellis on Brent Sykes. Not going to go for a move there at the S's. He's going to just stick the nose out, try and scare Sykes a little bit, but Sykes is aware of it. Sykes is not going to be psyched out here. Oh, but oh,
yeah.
dear.
Oh, that's, yeah, run right into the back.
That was inevitable.
Yeah, very, very deep on the brakes there. I don't know if he was trying to look for an inside line. It was just going to disappear at all times, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And it was just maybe missed his braking point cast a little bit, because it didn't look like he wanted to go for the move, but just probably outbroke himself going into the Melbourne hairpin a little bit with the dirty air. That's loose from Scanlon, but that's off the road slightly from Combo, which will save his bacon a little bit. Johnston is still fighting on this. Here's the little bit of contact, and yeah, that was just a tad late from Bruno Ellis, unfortunately, on the brakes.
Yeah, and bear in mind he's been, you know, slightly run off the track earlier on, lost a bunch of positions, so he'll probably be in a little bit of a phase mentally where he's just trying to fight back through a bit of a field that is maybe a little bit slower around him at the moment. That can always play a bit of games, unfortunately, on your driving style, and he'll just have to accommodate that, I think, at the end of the day, and make sure he doesn't cause any further accidents, because he's got a lot of work to do now. But just looking around the grid as well, a lot of people, I think we just had Convoy go past Scanlon. Yes,
Convoy got through. Convoy got a brilliant exit out of Cop Ice, and yeah, just got the run. Scanlon wasn't going to fight it too hard. He knows that Convoy's not his race here.
Well, I was going to say as well, Scanlon is up, was up 5 positions, now 4 positions. Started in P11, finds himself in the top 10 in P7. That is not a bad start whatsoever. Cameron Thistlewaite as well, number 36 car, up 7 positions, currently running in P10, started P17.
Yeah,
so a good start for a lot. Yeah, the other Bentley, yeah. So a good start from a lot of folks out there. That's Reynolds going purple on this lap. That's a 26.3. So putting the pedal down and starting to go for it. He's actually has built a little bit of a gap now. Just over 2 seconds from Joshua. Mia Rose, though, right on the back of Joshua, and that will explain it, because Josh will be going defensive now.
Yep, that's it. The last lap was a 26.9, so still not too bad from Vediger, but I expect Rose would have been a little bit faster, and you can see, yeah, Rose looks far more comfortable in that Lamborghini than Vediger does in that BMW. But out front, yeah, Reynolds has gotten himself acclimatized and has gotten that Ford Mustang into the window. Hopefully the window actually doesn't fall out of the car, as if it was real life, I'm sure it probably would.
Yeah, the Das Auto moment, that is. Being asked in chat, where's the rain, George? I didn't receive my payment, so no rain. Simple as that.
Well, hold on, Mia Rose trying to go around the outside of the Melbourne hairpin. She's not going to get it done there, but she might be able to get a better exit. Oh, but Vediger masterfully blocks it off, and it's going to be tight going into Goddard's, but Mia Rose might go up the inside. That's close.
That's beautiful racing, though, that is. And Vediger, what a place to put the car, right on the second apex of the Melbourne corner, and just sat it on the apex. And Mia tried the switchback. There was nowhere to go. There was a car in front of her.
Yes, that's it. And now here we've got Rose trying to maximize the exits where she possibly can out of Redgate. She looked very strong, but don't think she's going to get much done to the old hairpin. It's always pretty sketchy trying to make a move there, and yeah, she just holds off for now. Her next opportunity will probably be out of turn 8, and then maybe through Melbourne hairpin if she gets the run through the S's, but I'd say next opportunity will be coming out of turn 8 with the better exit speed. So right now that Lamborghini looks hooked up.
It does, and it should have a little bit of an advantage on some of the straights, especially with the distance she's following out. I mean, let's see how she closes up here. We head through Starkeys towards the S's.
It
No
wasn't
real
gonna be
gain there.
It wasn't going to be
Not
much.
much,
She got a bit of a wobble out of turn 8, so...
Ah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, look, Josh going defensive again. Doesn't want to give up any positions as well. Just cut off the apex again. This is going to be the same move.
Deep. That's deep. Oh!
Yeah, just... I mean, Mir didn't have any car by the side, so he's fully within his rights to cut off the corner. He did so. But you, as you said, went very deep into the corner. Not an ideal situation, and Mir will have another good go at him now into this lap.
Yes, Mir will be enjoying the fight, but I'm sure she'll want to get past as soon as humanly possible. She'll want to try and chase after Reynolds as much as possible, because of course we've only got the one mandatory pit stop in this race, so pit strategies won't come into play too much as we watch. Further back, that's Horsburgh and Vediger fighting it out. Now that's up the inside. That was Wood, but had to back out of it. So battles happening everywhere throughout the pack. In camera 1 though, Mia Rose is still closing in on Vediger, but just can't quite close in enough. But the exit speed that Mia Rose seems to be generating out of that Lamborghini is very, very solid. Now gets a much better line, but just the aero wash, and there you go. The aero wash going through turn 8 is just not going to do her any favors at all.
Yeah, just looking really like she's struggling to get the power down a little bit, isn't it?
That's
very
deep.
wide.
That is deep.
That's very deep. Oh, and Mia goes off track to get the inside line. Is that going to work out for her? Let's see, but she's gone way off track and should be on the outside now for Melbourne. Let's see what she can do on the switchback. Nothing really happening there. Oh, if you're Josh, you're going to be sweating right now.
Josh got away with that. Mia didn't really have many other options though. If she tried to go to the inside, she probably would have collided there with Vediger, but still, the race goes on.
Yeah, but what a fantastic battle. Good to see these two drivers. And Josh driving very good on the defensive, just making a couple of mistakes now. Mia making a little mistake there, still struggling with the power. And getting out of the corners just seems to be a little bit of a problem for her right now in that Lamborghini. We will see as we go and focus on another part of the race. P17, Ashley Vediger here in the Ferrari, Coca-Cola with sugar. And he is in a pack of about 7 cars at the moment. A nice little pack going on here from P15 all the way down to P21, I believe. And not a lot of gap between any of these cars at the moment. I do also have to report that Aiden Payne in that Ford livery, the Holden livery on the Ford, had a bit of an issue earlier on, is in the pit, and will be coming back out at some point. So camera time, minus right there.
That is a shame for Aiden Payne. Maybe you'll think next time about chucking an HRT livery on a Ford Mustang.
Bit of karma, it seems like, unfortunately for him.
Unfortunately, yeah, as in camera 2, Mia Rose is still trying to shape up a move on Vediger, but Vediger is defending beautifully. Now in camera 2 you can see the battle wheel just on board with the 7-car fight. It's like Wood is closing in on the full sugar Vediger.
Tries to have a look there, but nothing to it. Through the S's we go once again. Looks like Wood got an okay run through there, but Vediger was definitely better off at that stage. Into Melbourne's we go. Everyone braking at the right point. Excellent. A little bit of a defensive move behind from the Ferrari. See what happens from that. But yeah, this is a great little battle. 7-way battle and a 2-way battle. The top 3. This is, though, on camera 1, letting Ashton Reynolds start to really drive away in the Ford, and it's optimum conditions out there. 26 degrees Celsius out on track last I checked, and it's a 4.2 second gap now back to Joshua. So it is really starting to cost both Mia and Josh the ability to go after Ashton. They may have to try and do this with a pit stop strategy, but even then they're going to have to find some extra pace and stop fighting with each other if they want to catch up.
Yeah, that's it. All this is doing is just allowing Reynolds to run away with things. The gap has come down to just over 4 seconds now, although I think Vediger started to put the foot down. Rose has dropped back a little bit, so I think it may have found a bit more express pace sort of later on in this stint for the BMW.
Yeah, so that lap around was much better for both Joshua and Mia. 26.5 for both of them, and then Ashton was also on a 26.5. So he may also just be in a phase where he wants to maybe conserve a little bit of tires, or just, you know, he doesn't have to worry too much at this stage. Goes across the line, it's another 26.5, 26.7 for Vediger, 26.8 for Mia. So Yeah, a little bit of battling there. Slightly slower lap for those two in P2 and P3, but yeah, Reynolds seems to be absolutely on point, super consistent at the moment. He gets just a race's race. That's the benefit of being out there in clean air and in P1 with no one challenging from behind.
Yeah, that's it. You just have clean track ahead of you. You can just focus on driving, although sometimes it can also be your kryptonite, because you sometimes just lose focus and make one little silly error, and that can throw your whole race out of sorts.
Certainly can. I think leading this pack is Piper, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
yeah,
Piper. Thistleflate's got a drive-through. That is the first drive-through we've got. In fact, that's the first penalty we've got tonight, and that's for track limits, I'd assume, for Thistleflate.
Yeah, it must be, and yeah, so far very clean. 15 minutes without a penalty. Split blue. What is this? What are we watching? That's Piper very wide. We saw Wood go very wide at turn 1 as well, but yeah, I don't know how he's actually managed to get that back on track successfully. A lot of input there on the grass, and usually that does tend to send a car sideways, especially a car like the Audi, which he's in at the moment. But no, done nicely there. Lost a couple of positions though. Fortunately for him though, Wood cuts a corner there, but also went off at turn 1. So Wood created a bit of a gap there that Piper has slotted nicely back into.
Yeah, that's been pretty helpful for Piper. I don't know what it is. We've seen a fair few brilliant saves tonight from these drivers. They've something must have been put in their coffees this morning, as looks like got a little bit of a move there with Perkins behind, but wasn't able to do anything there on Spenceley.
I think Donington must be one of those tracks where you really do train to spend a lot of time off track as you're doing your practice laps and practicing your hot laps and things like that. You sort of practice the saves and where are you going to be traditionally going off and finding the edge of the curbs. Some of them do get a little bit shorter midway through the exit curve, so you've got to be careful of that. I think that's probably just given a lot of people a lot of practice at being off track here at Donington. Maybe that's why we're seeing such good saves.
Yes, that's it. Here's Sykes defending from Lel. Lel trying to go around the outside. It does turn into the inside line. Sykes leaves the room there, but manages to hold on to it for the moment. But it's looking likely that Lel is going to be challenging Sykes very heavily for that 13th position very soon, although Sykes gets a brilliant exit.
And a shout out to our broadcaster tonight, Benjamin Hignett. Big thanks to him. He's been stepping up and doing a wonderful job here for the Thursday broadcast, so big shout out to him. And another housekeeping item as we continue the battle on camera 1 and camera 2. It is, of course, the Simrigs Sprint Series. If you're on Octane Online Racing Patreon, you do get 5% off. So do consider supporting us through the Patreon. It does massively help us out and allows us to run these amazing series that you're watching tonight.
Yes, that's it. There's a lot of background costs that come with these series, and if the perks that the Patreon can provide allow you to support OOR and get that cheeky little 5% off at simrigs.com, brilliant. When people over there, then why not chip in a little bit?
That's right. So Mia, decent run through there. Looks like she's sorted out getting the power on this time around as we head towards the S's once again. The Vediger will be looking in his rear mirror once again. We're 19 minutes through this racetrack, temperature 27 degrees. That's a good exit for Mia. Joshua's going to have to maybe just keep an eye on this one. Mia's going to try and go wide. We're now on the rear wing of Sykes. Lel does some sort of attempt at an overtake, but does run off track. Not the ideal line there, and he certainly can't park there, that's for sure. But Mia challenging again, taking the wider line, trying to break deep. Trying to get that switcheroo and get the power down a little bit earlier than the BMW ahead. Hasn't worked out for her so far. And I think it was what you were saying, Alexis, that aero wash is absolutely deadly.
Oh, dear.
Okay. That was nearly a big incident. Yeah, that's right. On the marbles and trying an inside dive, and it just, luckily for Sykes, he was already backed out of the, backed out of the throttle and on the brakes trying to get into that corner, and there was just enough room. Probably a couple of centiliters in it.
Yeah, that's it. Wasn't far off from calamity. Mia Rose is still trying to get past Vediger. The gaps have stabilized between Reynolds and Vediger. Vediger, that is deep. Oh, he manages to hold on to it though, but Rose has definitely got the exit there.
He's got dirt on his outside tyres as well. A little bit of loss of traction. Through Coppice we go, and onto the Starkey straight. Yeah, Mia just seems to be in the position to overtake at all times, but she just can't find a way around. The BMW is looking really solid in and out of the corners. And let's see how they go through the S's. Yeah, not too bad from either of them. Honestly, it really does seem to be an equal battle right now.
Yeah, I think the big thing that's holding Mia back is the dirty air. You can just see it going through Coppice. It's just getting that aero wash, and it's just dragging her a little bit wide of where she'd want to be compared to Vediger.
And she really seems to be opening up the apexes a lot, trying to get the power on early, because you can see the BMW out of the corner. When it puts the power on, it's just gone. Then of course mid-straight, these are all very short straights. There's not really a lot of super high speed racing apart from maybe through the first few corners. We've sort of full throttle down the hill, and then as you come up the hill as well, you generally full throttle all the way through that. So that's where maybe the Lamborghini comes back a little bit into the corners. She seems to be very strong on the brakes. We've seen that last week in Misano, where she was very deep on the brakes and able to pull the car up very, very nicely. But unfortunately for her, that escaping BMW out of the exit just seems to be advantage. Lel going for an overtake here. Sykes has had a bit of a bad run through the final corner. Lel will be on the outside as we head to turn 1. Will Sykes give it up? I think he's going to fight it. No, he does back out, but there's still room being given. No, Lel will move up into P12, and away Lel will go.
Good move there from Lel. Yeah, Sykes just ran a little bit deep going through Goddard's, and they allowed Lel to get up the inside coming out of the exit of the final turn. Got a really nice run, and around the outside, clean as you'd like for Lel, and he's up to P12 now as we jump back to the battle between Vediger and Rose. Still raging on. Rose just can't find any sort of opportunity to gain anything here on Vediger. I think Vediger has had her behind low enough that he knows where he's stronger than the Lamborghini. He knows where the Lamborghini is stronger than his BMW, and he's just able to drive to the context surrounding these conditions and the current situation of the race.
I think it's a mark of a good driver that, you know, you start to analyze the advantages and disadvantages of the cars around you and your own. When you're in the race, you know, being able to do that in real time, it's something you've got to adapt to being able to do if you want to race at the top, and you know, all around the grid as well. Of course, very, very important skill to cultivate as a racing driver. But both of them playing the meta game right now, both of them kind of accounting for the other's strengths and weaknesses, and it's really creating quite the battle. I mean, we've been going with this battle since basically lap 1. In fact, yeah, since lap 1. So that's 25 minutes, and I'm just wondering when someone is going to pull the trigger, and it might be Mia pulling the trigger early. Has another little squiggle on the throttle, and a 10-second penalty for Lel for causing a collision.
That would be with Paddy Oliver at the start of the race on through Melbourne hairpin. You can see on lap 1.
That's right.
Yeah, Lel just clipped the back of Paddy Oliver, spin him around, and unfortunately that is a penalty there for Lel.
This is an opportunity for Mia. She was quite close through the apex, but as we said before, the Lamborghini good on its brakes, catches up into the braking zone, loses on the exit. As you can see the gap opening up again. She takes a wider line. We're going to go for a replay. Just watch this. So, Paddy Oliver's just... Yeah, well, he's on the track, and he's allowed to be there. Unfortunately, Lel just goes into the back of him and causes a bit of chaos towards the back. That's what let Wood go through, and it was that chaos actually that really shuffled up the grid through that. A lot of people trying to take avoiding action, going around the outside, losing positions, some trying on the inside, and another penalty will come through for Lee Perkins, the number 33 Ferrari.
So a few penalties starting to go through now. The steward's doing a great job behind the scenes to make sure that the race is run professionally and all incidents are looked at fairly. As here is the onboard, so this, that is tight there for the Bentley there. I believe that is Fisselflate there that we're on board with for that one.
Yeah, when you're in that view as well, you know that there's a yellow because it'll be flashing up on your dashboard and on your UI and all that, but you don't always know exactly where the car's going to land, and fortunately for Fisselflate there, was able to be conscious of the fact that the car was basically sitting around the apex and got over the grass as soon as he possibly could. So good avoiding action there, but yeah, for the drivers behind, or at least one of them, sort of ended up face to face with the spun Lamborghini of Paddy Oliver, and you hate to see that. We've all been in a situation like that, and suddenly there's a car in front of you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I was expecting Mia Rose to come in this
Yep.
lap. She'd been behind for a while. A few drivers are starting to make their stops. And Mia Rose is the first of the front runners to dive on in, and she's going to try the undercut here on Vettiger. McDonald goes through. He was about 6 seconds behind Vettiger and Rose before. He's been putting in a respectable race. Here we get a very nice view. I believe this is going through McLean's.
Possibly one of the best camera shots we've had so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, satisfying. Very, very satisfying, especially with the Mustangs jumping over that curb. Absolutely beautiful. You see the turn in on the cars.
Ah, no, that was the old hairpin, actually. I stand corrected.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, yes, it was indeed. Yeah, that would be turn 4, yeah. Just down the hill, yeah. Yep,
so just got locations a little bit mixed up, but then again, turns 2, 3, 4, and then turns 5, 6, 7 all look about the same. Lel's gotten another 10-second penalty, and Ellis has gotten a 10-second penalty as well.
Okay, so, well, we spent nearly half the race, Alexis, without penalties, and the drive-through kicked it all off, and now the stewards have clicked their pens and made their judgments, and we see the result of that now. Chris Murphy up into P4, of course, that's provisional a moment, because obviously we've had Mia Rose pit, but he's on a solid race at the moment, fighting with Jamie Comboy. That's another battle that's been going on pretty much for the most race. Vettiger's in as well. Okay, so he's going to try and offset the undercut that Mia is trying to do, and that is the sensible thing at this stage, because
Mia's in a little bit of traffic here. Like she had a few cars around her. It's not too bad actually. She may have just been the splits before. Oh, she's really pushing.
Well, she has to at this point. I mean, she has to try and find a 0.5 second better outlap. If she can do that, she'll have the speed down to turn 1 to go on the inside. It's all going to come down to that, so she has to push this lap. That traffic's not going to make a huge difference, but she's rapidly approaching it, so this is the crucial lap right here.
Vettiger has finished his stop, and he's coming out now. There is Mia Rose, and Vettiger's got it still.
Yep. Doesn't look like that was down to traffic. I mean, we saw how squiggly Mia was getting under acceleration there, and it just wasn't a good enough lap.
Yeah, she's lost time. Lost significant time, actually. She's lost about half a second.
She actually had a faster overall pit stop than Joshua Vettiger again, so that was really not a good lap. I'll keep an eye on Joshua's out lap time, see if there's a big difference there. Maybe that could give us an indication of Mia's lap and how relatively good or bad it was. Murphy and Comboy, this is going to be a great battle to watch. Porsche versus Ford. This is for the overall P4-5 at the moment, and as we've seen before, yeah, Comboy bails. It's the car behind. They say, you know what, I'm done following. I'm done dealing with the aero wash. I want to get out in clean air for at least a period of time, see if I can do the undercut and hope that the car ahead doesn't come in the next lap.
Oh dear, Paddy Oliver's gotten a stop go 30, and I think he's just about had enough.
Oh dear. Was that speeding in the pit lane, was it?
Yep.
Oh dear, Pat. It's really gone from bad to worse for Pat Oliver today at Donington. That is gonna be a race to forget, I think, for him.
Yeah, well, he came out of the pits, then pulled off to the side when he saw the penalty. It looks like Vettiger hasn't been able to get past Horsburgh, and well, Mia Rose is now right back on Vettiger's tail.
Wow, this could be massively consequential. Of course, Horsburgh there has yet to pit, doesn't have to move out of the way because technically Vettiger and Mia are in P12 and P13. They're going to have to navigate this McLaren. Vettiger will want to get that done soon. Mia's going to try and use this as an opportunity, though. As one goes through, you might be able to find your way past another. Depends on how hard Horsburgh goes on the defensive driving.
Vettiger's had to go defensive there. Can Mia get the exit out of McLean's into Coppice? No, not quite, but the exit will be probably a little bit better for Mia on this occasion because Vettiger does have the dirty air this time, but also has the slipstream. And I think Vettiger is going to have a go into the Melbourne. He's going to have a go into the S's. That's going to compromise his run a little bit. but Mia can't do anything about it. She's just too close to the rear end of the BMW.
Yeah, too right. Is it big send? Yeah, I thought this might be coming. Horsburgh does end up being the other way. Mia tries as well, but Vediger goes very deep. Mia goes through, and that is a big change in position there. It's all happened. The waves have parted. Mia goes on through, and Vediger will be ruining his decision to go so late on the brakes. That was a massive send. Horsburgh saw it coming. Actually doesn't manage to stay ahead of both of them at the end of that. Crikey, if you're Horsburgh, I think you're sweating as much as these two are at this point.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Horsburgh may not be in this battle, but he's doing an excellent job to hold off these two, and that's caused a change on his provisional P2 in this race, and Mia Rose now ahead of Vediger after Vediger made that error. Now Mia will want to avoid doing the same. Horsburgh goes a little bit wide. Will Mia try and have a go into McLean? She's got the run. She's gonna try and dive up the inside. It's gonna be tight, but she's gonna make it work. And she does so. That's a brilliant move from Mia Rose.
That's stunning. It's what Vediger really needed to do last lap around. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get that done. And Horsburgh does see it in his rear vision mirrors and goes, yeah, no, I've got to get out of that. I can't be part of that any longer. And Mia, that's critical for her. Now Vediger's got to try and find a way past the McLaren as well. Goes deep on the brakes or into the S's. Trying everything now. Vediger knows if he doesn't get on the rear wing of Mia, she's going to drive away with a potential P2 in this race, taking it away from him. Remember, P3 was the qualifying position for Mia, and Joshua did get P2 in qualifying. So he's very close to the McLaren now. Might have to try to send up into the final corner. We'll see if he does it. No, backs out of it and try and use the traction on exit of the BMW to launch past the McLaren through the pit straight here potentially, and he's got a bit of work to do now. He's got to find that confidence like Mia just did through McLean's, which was a very impressive overtake, and get himself past that McLaren or fear losing Mia to the tarmac up ahead.
Mia is already starting to run away, and Horsburgh once again doing spectacular stuff, holding off these fast drivers. Sure, it's probably not what he was expecting to do, but he's doing really, really well regardless. But Vediger has a bit of a run here. Is he going to be confident enough to go into McLean's? But he's not alongside enough. He does get a little bit of an overlap. That's going to help him going into Coppice, and he should get it up the inside. And finally, Joshua Vediger is up to B7 ahead of Horsburgh, but he's lost so much time in that process. He's probably about a second and a half behind Mia Rose now.
Right, and as we see the plane landing off in the distance. Sorry, no, that's Mia coming through the S's. This is the BMW of Vediger. Yeah, really calm and patient, though. You've got to take your hats off. He doesn't want to cause an incident with Horsburgh. Doesn't want to get caught up in that, because that will cost him a lot more in the race overall. But yeah, it has cost him. I think that McLaren was just braking. Similar to the Lamborghini, seems to be better on the brakes into the corners than the BMWs. That's a bit wide there from, I believe that's Wood we're on board with at the moment. And there's there's a livery. We'll just call it that. There's a livery behind him. Payne's been in a bit of pain throughout this race. I've seen him on the yellow flags a number of times. Fortunately, we have not yet had to see any of those, so he gets off the hook for now. And now we get to watch this battle. It's a fight back from Joshua Vediger. He is 1.4 seconds behind Mia, though, so no slipstream for that BMW. We'll go on board as we head down the hill towards the old hairpin. Mia looking solid and just driving well at the moment, but a small mistake here or there could change this up very quickly.
Yeah, but a few tenths of a second after getting past Horsburgh's 1.8 seconds at the Sector 2 split, gained about 4 tenths of a second in about a lap. We'll see what the overall gain is over one lap, but right now these two are very, very close on pace, but out front Reynolds is still flying.
Had a brief yellow flag there for Chris Brooker, so Jamie Conboy goes up into P9. Chris Brooker falls back to P10 in his Porsche. Lee Perkins behind them, 10-second penalty. Brooker still yet to pit, though, apparently. So there is going to be some antics going on there, I suspect.
Yes, so you've got Reynolds, Murphy, Scanlon, Horsburgh, Perkins, and Brooker who have to come into the pits.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because Reynolds being run.
This is what happened to Brooker in the Aston Martin. It just wide.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you dip a tire onto the grass, you're on the accelerator at that point. It's unless you get off it really quickly, get the counter steering in soon, you're gonna have the car rotating on you.
Yep, that's it. And on this occasion, it was just a little bit too much for Brooker to handle, but he did manage to keep it out of the wall, thankfully.
Oh, and that is a drive-through for Lel, number 8 Aston Martin, drive-through for track limits.
Yep, so track limits drive through that for Lel. That's the second one we've seen tonight, I believe, after Fisselthwaite got one.
Yeah, that is correct. And yeah, Lel is having a bit of a shocker as well. So number out there. I don't know if Paddy Oliver is still on the track. I'm not sure if he is. I think he might have had to retire the car after the shocker that he's had. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Sometimes that happens, and Donington is one of those places, right? Small mistakes and incidents do tend to add up, and it'll ruin your race pretty quickly. It'll sort of chew you up and spit you out.
Yep, that's it. And speaking of chewing up and spitting out, Mia Rose has chewed up Joshua Vediger here, and well and truly spit him out as Vediger is now starting to lose time to Mia Rose.
So I guess there's a couple of strategies being employed here. There's some running quite long into this race. I suspect we'll see some pit stops from, Chris Murphy's in, Scanlon's in. Reynolds might be pitting in the next lap or two, might be running a 40-minute stint here. Horsburgh does come in for his pit stop as well, so that's pretty close to the half-half mark. Most people have been running for that, except for those in the battles who've wanted to try and find some clean air. Here's McDonald. He's going to move up a little bit, so P6 he'll move up to because he'll pass Horsburgh there. I think Scanlon
He's up to P4
well,
again.
That is back to P4. Yeah, good. Excellent. So that's a continuation. He's just solid, completely solid in P4. Nothing to it in the very green Mustang, but he's having a quiet one.
Yeah, it looked like he may have had the opportunity to be right up the front there, but unfortunately just got a little bit caught out of a couple of things as we watch on with Ben Dyke in the League of Legends fans livery, we'll call it.
It's a wrapper, it's a candy wrapper.
In fact, Ben Dyke's found himself in P10, if you don't mind.
Oh, take that any day of the week, to be fair, and he's potentially battling for P9 here because Ethan Small just ahead of him in that McLaren.
Yeah, it's been a very solid race from Scanlon, Small, and Ben Dyke. They've really shown some solid consistency out there tonight when a few others have faltered. So we are now watching with Vediger Senior, Ashley Vediger, in the full sugar Coca-Cola entry, trying to defend against Sykes.
I have to note, Ashley Vediger's up 7 positions since the start of P21.
Wow.
So he's having a great race up in P14.
Yeah, wow, there's been some really good races out there for quite a few drivers. The only driver, well, the only driver now left to pit as Payne comes into the pits is our current race leader, Ashlyn Reynolds. So Reynolds will pretty much be going for qualifying laps to the end once he does come in.
And I think he's just come in. Yes, he has. Yeah, so that's no surprise. I mean, 22 minutes on the clock. 22 minutes and 22 seconds exactly as he comes into the pits. So
must have been waiting for that moment.
Yeah, exactly. He's just been timing everything. That's why he's been, slowing down a little bit, just managing his pace, just to hit that marker. But he'll still be, 4 or 5 seconds to the good of Mia Rose and Vediger. Although we'll have to see. We'll have to see if the gap reduces at all. It might do just a little bit, but Mia was caught up in the traffic. So was Josh. So I suspect Brad Reynolds' gap here is probably increased by some margin.
Yes, because Reynolds had the advantage of clean air and should be moving soon. We'll keep an eye on the pin indicator. And yes, he is now moving. And Rose is just coming into Goddard's now. So Reynolds should still lead by a fair distance. And does so. Wow, that is still quite the distance.
It is. Looks like it's going to be just north of 6 seconds, or just north of 5 seconds. Actually,
more. It's going to be about 10 seconds almost.
Yeah, nearly actually, isn't it? My pit timers are showing me something slightly different. 7.5 seconds is what I'm seeing right now, but it'll equalize once we get past the first sector.
7.5 seconds, yeah.
Oh well, there we go. So he has it. Yeah, he's definitely gained time. I mean, that's understandable. Clean air. Mia and Josh have been fighting, trying to get through traffic, and he's going to come out in clean air as well. So he's timed that to perfection, and really, Ashton's been a superfluous drive from him today.
It's been flawless, really. He got the pole position, had a brilliant start, stayed away from all the drama behind him, And he's just kept things clean, consistent, and fast all throughout. And now he's got the benefit of fresh tyres right to the end of this race and should be in prime position to take a winners. That is Sykes trying to go now around the outside in through Redgate on what is Ashley Vediger. Has to break lane. It's going to be tight between these two. Vediger does defend nicely though.
Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do into turn one. If you find someone on the outside, and you're always best to try and take that inside line, you're never going to get it done on the outside, really. There's just no grip out there at the end of the day. But Sykes, I mean, Sykes is really putting the challenge on. Goes a bit deep there, loses a lot of time, so maybe struggling for a bit of grip. Tried around the outside before, and maybe the temperatures in the tyres just looking a little too hot at the moment. Go back on board with Bendy. Now this is the battle for P10 right now, and he's got Breno Ellis right behind him in the Lamborghini. The two Lamborghinis chasing a McLaren at the moment. Small is the only McLaren in the top 10 right now. Currently, I think there's 2 McLarens out on field. So for the likes of myself, who's a big McLaren fan, go Small. Bring it home, mate. But yeah, as we sail that, Ashton Reynolds on form for a trifecta today.
The downfall of McLaren in ACC will be well documented.
I think it'll be well appreciated by many as well, especially after the antics we've seen at Spa in recent months.
Certainly, yes. The McLaren used to be the popular choice. Now I have a feeling the Ford will be up there. I mean, from what I've heard, the Ford is a pretty solid car in this game at the moment. Of course, there'll be a few adjustments in patches here and there, but right now, 7.1 seconds clear of Mia Rose, Ashlyn Reynolds is showing exactly what that Mustang can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see in addition to the cars. I mean, we had the 720S GT3 Evo McLaren that came in as well, sort of blew a lot of people away. 296 Ferrari came in and sort of went straight to the top of the meta, which is very nice. Another beautiful camera shot there, the grass getting a little bit of screen time. You'd love to see. I think we need to hire Jim's mowing, though. It needs to trim the verge a little bit there, I think.
It looks like one of the cars actually mowed a little bit of the grass there, so already doing the job of Jim.
Excellent. We'll get them on contract and we'll pay them out their fee because they're doing good work today, everyone.
Yes, very much so. As we still watch on with this battle for P9, it is getting tight. That's Ellis now trying to go up the inside. Ben Dyke shoe just went a little bit wide, trying to avoid hitting the back of Ethan Small. And now will Ellis try and dive up the inside of Goddard's? I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Oh, that is another beautiful camera angle. Hats off to Benjamin Hignett on cameras tonight. He's been excellent all night so far. And do stick around as there's more of that where it came from with Split Red coming up after this race finishes. For now, we'll focus on this battle here. Still Small from Ben Dyche and Ellis. Further back, Sykes has managed to get past Ashley Vediger. We'll take a look at a replay of that in due course, but right now we've still got this battle on our hands. That Small getting quite loose there. That might open the door for Ben Dyche. Does get a little bit of the dust as well, but Ben Dyche can't do anything about it, and all that's going to do is open the door for Ellis to try and maximize the exits and sneak his way past the other Lamborghini.
Yeah, the McLaren and the Lamborghini seem to be very evenly matched at the moment. We kind of saw this with Holsberg and Mia as well. Just seem to be really matched on entry speed and exit speed and top speed at the moment. And Breno Ellis going to try round the inside. There's not going to be anything in it. Does force Bendy to go a little bit deep into the S's. It's going to compromise him a little bit. The Small can breathe a small breath of air
Ellis,
for now. But
Ellis has got 15
can we
seconds.
go? Oh, he has. Yes, he has. I didn't even see that. Oh, and he's gone for a move. Bendik, there's a bit of contact between them. It'll be side by side. Bendik will have the inside as we head to the last corner. What was that 15 seconds for? I didn't even see that.
I wonder if that just appears. I don't think that was there before, but still side by side between Ben Dyche and Ellis. Ellis will have the inside lag, will have the advantage, and should get through up into P10 for the moment. But that 15-second penalty is going to really hamper his progress.
Yeah, if you're Ben Deek now, you probably see the 15-second penalty on there for Ellis as well, so you don't want to be fighting too much. Now your job is to stay on the rear wing of Ellis as we head into the fight for Small. Just on board at the moment. This is how Sykes got past. Oh, Vediger had a horrible run there. Actually, Vediger, horrible run through the S's, and Sykes says, thank you very much. I'll take that, and goes on through and takes the position away from Vediger up into P14. So, yeah, but Bendik now just needs to get his head down, keep on the rear wing, of Ellis as much as he possibly can, as Ellis will catch up with Small in relatively short order. Small shouldn't do too much fighting with Ellis either. Again, when you've got a car that's behind you, 15-second penalty, you know, you don't fight too hard for the overtake.
Well, here's a little bit of a battle here. McDonald and Murphy. Murphy's caught right up to the back of the Ford Mustang, the bright green Ford Mustang there. I believe that's a little bit of a Chick Hicks inspiration there for Tom McDonald.
Yeah, when did this happen? Chris Murphy wasn't look like he was going to be in a battle with Tom McDonald. We sort of thought Tom McDonald's got a bit of breathing room on each side of, you know, on his rear end and towards the front as well, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And now Chris Murphy's looking like he's got the pace as well. 127.4 from Chris Murphy. Tom McDonald did a 27.8. So McDonald looks like he's struggling for a pace out there just a little bit, or certainly that last lap was not ideal whatsoever. And Convoy's sort of only 3 seconds behind them as well. So if McDonald doesn't, yeah, twice indeed. If he doesn't, you know, get the foot down a little bit, this might be him losing that P4 position.
And well, meanwhile, Vediger, Joshua Vediger, that is, still slowly catching up to Mia Rose. So that fight for P2 is far from over. And well, we've got battles all over for the major positions and the minor positions, of course, as that is now Murphy getting a beautiful run out of Melbourne Hairpin. That puts him at a disadvantage going into Goddard's. That puts McDonald under immense pressure.
Well, we've said it once and we'll say it before, getting past Tom McDonald is not an easy thing to do. So Chris Murphy, this is going to be a real test of his overtaking ability here. It does look like he's got a lot more pace and grip on
Chase
that
cam.
Porsche. Oh yeah, we love it. Love to see it. Oh, let's go back to that. Put us on chase cam of Chris Murphy. That'd be great. Because this is going to be a good battle that we want to watch for sure.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what we want to see. The pundits are happy, and let's see what happens. Down the hill through Old Hairpin we go. We're going for an onboard with helmet camera movement as well. You love to see it. I love it.
Yes, it's spectacular. Once again, the cameraman doing some brilliant work as Ellis is now past Small. But again, that 15-second penalty will drop him down a fair way. Small and Ben Dykes can now just fight between them, and that's close between Murphy and McDonald. Murphy really wants to get past, but as you say, McDonald is not an easy driver to get through on. He's great, brilliant at defending.
Yeah, I mean, they're on really equal stints as well. McDonald's only been out there for 3 minutes longer than Chris Murphy, so there's no tyre advantage going on. But for some reason, that Ford doesn't look particularly comfortable into the corners at the moment. It seems sort of taking quite the angle in. It's compromising him a little bit on the exit. That's giving Chris Murphy the advantage in and out of the corner. Still wrangling the Ford quite well is McDonald, and you know, as we know, he'll defend for the next 12 minutes quite happily, and he won't let a single soul past him. But Chris Murphy's just got, you know, he's got everything in hand. He's got all the advantages his way. He just needs to find that gap or wait potentially for McDonald to try and make a mistake. That said, as we said before,
blue flags
defender
might come into this as well.
That's a good point, actually. Well, this is a good run, though. That was a bad exit through turn 1 for McDonald. Chris Murphy will be right on his tail bar. Aero wash, hello.
It's also just the straight line speed that Mustang has compared to the Porsche.
Yeah.
Mustang has the torque, the Porsche, not so much.
Yep, I was about to make a bad joke there, but I will refrain from doing so. Another look up the inside there through McLean's for Chris Murphy, but nothing in it at this stage. Yeah, he's just threatening. He's being right in the mirrors for Tom McDonald, but I don't think that really does anything to phase Tom McDonald, from my experience at the very least.
McDonald really doesn't have the pace here. Convoy is catching up rapidly on these two. Within a second now for Convoy. Convoy's probably the fastest of the three at the minute, and we got a beautiful Porsche sandwich with the Mustangs as the bread right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. That's a sandwich I would quite happily indulge in. We are indulging in it right now. Oh, the blue flag does get out of the way at a timely position. Yes, thank you very much. That is appreciated. But
that's deep for Murphy, and that's going to allow Convoy up the inside and gets the exit. It is now Ford 4-5. Murphy with the mistake, and Convoy says, "Thank you very much. I will take that one." And now he's going to be hunting after McDonald, trying to get P4. Meanwhile, Vediger is really starting to catch Mia Rose.
That's going to be fascinating. Well, our pork sandwiches was turned into 2 pieces of bread, sadly. But Convoy, that's going to be good for him. Look how deep he was in the brakes, Chris Murphy, and just does manage to get out of it, fortunately. But Convoy says, oh, well, that's fantastic. I'll take the inside line. Happy days, we'll go for it. And now Convoy's going to be on the back of McDonald very, very soon. So, you know, Jamie Convoy, as we all know, seasoned veteran here at OOR, and he has got some incredible overtaking ability.
That's why for McDonald. Convoy might be able to get a bit of a run here through the S's. In fact, he's going to close in before start. Might compromise things. He's going to try and scare McDonald a little bit, but that's actually run McDonald a little bit wide there. And Convoy, he might be able to get up the inside. McDonald tries to run him as tight to the inside as possible. Now Convoy goes to the outside, goes deep on the brakes. Can he pull it up in time? Just, but now that's allowed Murphy to get up the inside, and we're nearly going to go 3-1. In fact, we are pretty much going to go 3-1 between these three. This is incredible racing. Murphy now goes deep. Now Convoy trying to get any exit he possibly can, but he loses the rear, and now can Murphy get up the inside? That straight line speed of the Porsche is not going to be doing any favors, and somehow they are still in the same position they were at the start of last lap.
What an incredible exchange. We nearly had a Schumacher-Heikkinen moment there, and I was really praying that we were going to, but unfortunately for me, that's not availed itself of the situation. Chris Murphy nearly took advantage of that, just wasn't able to get the power down. Convoy, of course, was wide through Melbourne, so was able to get the power down a little bit earlier. And wow, Tom McDonald, he is the cork in the bottle right now, holding back an incredible explosion of racing talent. And he's doing well. The difference, though, between these two Mustangs at the end of the day, really stark difference, and you can see that Convoy is able to get a little bit looser, able to get the power down, able to get the braking down a lot easier on that Mustang, so it might well come down to setup.
Very well could, but it may also come down to the track limits warnings. JC is on 3 warnings here. He has to be very, very careful, but he does not care. He's really going for it. In fact, he's had to back out, but I think he felt that he may have cut a little bit too much, so he just had to back out, but make sure that he didn't gain an advantage. And so far, no penalty for him, but he's allowed Murphy to get right on the back of him, and Murphy can't do anything there. But every time Convoy, that's deep, that is deep. Convoy's starting to crack under pressure a little bit here. Maybe that setup is just a little bit harsh on the tires for Convoy. It may have a little bit of gain early on, but just loses time later on in the stint. But for now, it is still Convoy in P5 and Murphy in P6.
Yeah, something I found with the Ford as I was trying to set it up was that the rear end loves to light up. You know, it's got a big engine, lots of torque. You get that power down just a little bit early, you will be wheel spinning a lot. And we did see that Jamie Convoy was able to get the power down a little bit earlier than Tom McDonald. And at the end of the day, it looks like McDonald is maybe just playing it a little safer with the tire temps, with the braking temperatures as well. And that's maybe giving him that advantage. Fewer mistakes, or a little bit wide there from Convoy. He's had another bit of a moment on the exits. The tires will be screaming underneath that.
Hold on, in camera 2, we've got Vettiger going up the inside of Mia Rose into the Melbourne hairpin. Can Vettiger pull it up this time? No, he cannot. Mia Rose gets the switchback. Can Vettiger try and hold up the inside now into Goddard's? This is brilliant racing between these two now. They break about the same point. There's a little bit of contact, but that is Vettiger through. Vettiger back up to P2.
What a maneuver that was. He had the inside line into the final corner. Does it brilliantly. Yes, a little bit of contact, but he was on the inside. He had the apex. He had the car alongside, and he gets the power down. BMW powers out of the last corner, up into P2. What a move there. Mia won't be happy, and she'll begin her fight back as well. And the battle between Murphy and Convoy continues. JC will hate me saying this, but it's another standard JC race with 3 track limit warnings throughout the race.
Yes, once again, JC with the 3 ones. It all was set up from Mia Rose, just running that little bit deep through the S's. Vettiger reacting brilliantly, nearly hitting the back of Mia Rose, but just pulled out in time. Did go a little bit deep into the Melbourne hairpin. It was a nice switcheroo from Mia Rose, but Vettiger just had enough of the exit to hold the inside line going into Goddard's. Had the line. Mia Rose couldn't do a whole lot about it. Yeah, had a little bit of contact, but that's clean, fair racing between those two. Hats off.
Yeah, if you want any more examples of how the BMW's got bad brakes, well, that's your example right there. But nonetheless, Vettiger does incredibly well to pull it up and gets the overtake done beautifully and is now powering away. He's already put 0.5 of a second on Mia Rose, so it could be all said and done. We've got 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this race. And what a race it's been in Split Blue. Hats off. You don't need rain for a good race. Split Blue showing us how it's done today. Yes, lots of penalties around. But that is the nature of Donington at the end of the day, and everyone will go home and learn from that. Split camera now on screen as Mia begins her fight back against Vettiger, who's now starting one of his final laps in this race. I think we've got somewhere in the region of 3 laps left in this race, depends on where Reynolds is, but this battle continues to rage on. Tom McDonald surviving.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want this race to end. This has been one of the most entertaining races I have ever watched as a commentator. And while all of this has been happening, Van Dijk has managed to get past Ethan Small and up into P10, which will become P9 at the end of the race after Ellis's 15-second penalty. He will not be able to extend that gap enough to stay ahead of Van Dijk or Small, and probably at this stage not even Thistlethwaite. So right now, Ellis would drop down to 12.
Yeah, that's going to hurt from P9, of course, but Ellis has got to do all he can. Let's see the overtake here. And Bendy, it looks like a bad run for the McLaren. Yeah, it was a bad run for Small, and the Lamborghini will go around the outside. Who's going to brake later? Well, I think we know the result of that. It's going to be the inside line for the Lamborghini. McLaren can do absolutely nothing. Planted on the apex is Bendig, and through he will go. Nothing that Small could do there. Disappointing as a McLaren fan, of course, but congrats to Bendig. That's a top 10 position for him right there.
That's great execution. Brilliant execution. Looks like Convoy lost a bit of time on McDonald coming out of the S's, and now he's under pressure from...
Oh.
Murphy's gone through.
He just went through. It happened.
Convoy's rear tyres are gone.
They are, because he's got no traction. He's got no acceleration out of the corners. Yeah, he's...
28.6. Yeah, look.
Oh, you can see it, yeah.
The car can't stay in a straight line. It's all just wheel spin.
Oh, no, it's completely iced over for the rear tyres, and that is the opposite of what's actually happening on the tyres, but there is no grip there at all for him. You can see the car's lateral movement as well. It's slipping, it's sliding. He's basically having a rain race right now on dry tyres.
Ah, okay, so there's actually a little bit of gamesmanship happening here. So apparently Murphy let JC pass to give him a crack at T-Max, so JC just gave it back, so that's just a little bit of camaraderie between those two.
I see. Okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, it's kind of funny at the end of the day because, you know, McDonald's such a staunch defender. Everyone's going, well, I can't do that. You know, someone else have a go. You have a try. See if you can crack that nut. But no, at this stage, no one's been able to do it. And that was another wide there from Jamie Convoy. Is that going to be a track limit? Let's hope not.
No, it doesn't look like it. I think he's managed to save it for now. But now, can Murphy have a go at McDonald? He's pretty much going to have only one opportunity. There's 2 laps left in this one. We are on the penultimate lap of the race. Reynolds has driven brilliantly out front. He has let the gap slip a little bit, but either way, he's just been managing the race fantastically, and he is pretty much bound to take a win here, and what would be fine style for the Ford Mustang driver.
Certainly, yeah, bringing home the Mustang with a trifecta. I'm sure he will be absolutely stoked with that. This is one of my favorite camera views, the right wheel camera view. Beautiful stuff here. We're on board with Chris Murphy, of course, the 101 Porsche. On his fight is his second turn. This now is turn number 2 at trying to get ahead of Tom McDonald, but Tom McDonald has been a really tough contender, as always, to get past, and I think he's just driving very...
but that's a little bit wide for McDonald.
Yeah, that's not going to do him any favors, but I mean, will it matter? He's going to put it on the apex for the next one, and probably the next one, and then he'll make that car wide. I would say that's so close to being off track, but does manage to wrangle it. We did say this before, he's been in a Ferrari for most of the season, I believe, and it's not quite as wide a car as this, at least visually, than this Ford here, so I do wonder if the Ford choice is a tactical one from Tom McDonald, just to make it extra hard for people to get past him.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because Murphy's right there now and could potentially have a go on this last lap. Ashwin Reynolds is now on the last lap of this race, and what a race it has been. This has been super entertaining right from start to finish. Donington Park has not disappointed, but it's not over yet. Chris Murphy, 0.3 of a second. It's all on this for P4. McDonald or Murphy, who takes it? Conboy has fallen off a cliff, and it is now just between these two and these two only. Get that beautiful camera shot again.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a brave move from Murphy. He's going to have to find that location and absolutely nail it if he doesn't. That said, it looks like McDonald's having a little bit of tricky time on the Mustang's traction as well, so it's advantage Murphy, I'd say, and my money right now is on Murphy finding a way past. We head through McLean's for the last time in this race with these two. Oh, not a great exit for Murphy, but McDonald's all over the place at the moment, taking wide lines in, trying to maximize the exit. The Mustang's not looking particularly planted. We'll keep an eye. Mia has fallen off the back of Vediger, so that will be, looks like the top three is solidified at this stage, and the leader is coming up to the last corner now, so race will be over in just a moment. Let's keep on this battle. Murphy, good exit.
That's a brilliant run.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Murphy trying to go around the outside. Ashwin Reynolds will cross the line to take the victory. But here comes Murphy. There's a little bit of an overlap, but can't do it through the Melbourne hairpin. Can he force the issue into Goddard's? McDonald defends the inside. It's going to be a last-ditch effort if there is one. Covers the inside. That is brilliant defense from Tom McDonald, and he takes a well-earned P4 position there. Murphy in P5, and it should be Jamie Conboy there in P6 from Johnston, Scanlon. Then it will be Ben Deitch and Small, at least in the top 10. Ellis will drop down with the 15-second penalty, and we'll see where he ends up. But what a race. Hats off to Ashton Reynolds. Faultless from start to finish.
Yeah, and the trifecta, pole position, fastest lap, and a race win. Really, really well done. He's had a nice, cool, calm and collected race out there today. My hat's off as well to Joshua Vediger. What a race he's had there. He lost out. He started P2. He's finished P2. He's had a battle with Mia all the way through this race. That's incredible pressure. We all know how fast Mia is. She'll be gutted with the P3, with the P2 looking, only a second up the field for most of the race or less. But yeah, that battle right at the end there, McDonald just planting it on the end of the apex at the final corner. There was nothing that Murphy can do about that. He would have had to try around the outside, and the Mustang would have beaten him. So either way, the dice was going to roll, it looks like, towards McDonald's favor. But what a race. I mean, that was just pure pleasure here at Donington.
Yes, indeed. We will go through your race order very, very soon. But just hats off to Split Blue. Standing ovation for that one. That was epic, epic stuff. And we've got another race coming up for you very, very soon. We'll be in about 5 minutes. We'll swap it over to Split Red. But we'll get yourselves some results here in the race. It was Reynolds winning out with the fastest lap there. 5 seconds clear of Vediger. Then Rose, McDonald, Murphy, Conboy, Johnston, Scanlon, Ben Deitch, and Small, your top 10. The silver class, it was Murphy from Scanlon and Ben Deitch, although I believe Johnston was actually second in that class. In the Pro-Am class, it was Small from Horsburgh and Sykes. Then in the AM class, it was, I don't think there were any AM
I think there was, yeah, because all of them are silver, so, yeah, as far as I know, so, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, what a race. Congratulations to everyone. Some really good finishes there for a lot of the other categories. Pro-Am and Silver doing incredibly well in this race. And, you know, Chris Murphy's showing us today that he's really got the pace to be right up there at the top of the field. And if he continues that form throughout the season, he's on for a silver win, and he's on to maybe get that pro badge as well. So hats off to him. It was really impressive racing here in round 3 for Split Blue. And we're going to hand over to some brilliant other commentators soon for Split Red. Alexis, pleasure as always. Big thanks to Benjamin for myself and everyone in chat. Pleasure being back in the comment box once again, and I'm gonna jump out before JC jumps in just in case, because I did say about the track warning. So yeah.
Yeah, what a race, and it was once again a privilege to have commentated that one. We'll be back very, very shortly for your Split Red comms, and yeah, be sure to hang out for that, as I'm sure Split Red will be equally as exciting as what we just experienced with Split Blue.
Evening, everyone. The final Oceanic Split is upon us for round 3 at Donington Park. My name is Jamie Conboy, joined by Neil Haynes this evening with, of course, the gorgeous Ben Higmet on the cameras. Mia Rose has had to depart, unfortunately, and won't be joining us. So it's just myself and Neil. We'll be running the show. How are you, Neil?
Yeah, pretty good. It seems like Mia is got a lack of sleep, so I think going off to have a few Zeds, get a few early ones before the day arises tomorrow. But yeah, feeling good tonight. We had a week off, didn't we, JC? So the grid's ready to go after a little week off with the new Mustang being released.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could tell people were raring to go in the Discord all week long. There was arguments for absolutely no reason. There was Barneys occurring there was wars of words. It was all happening. People just antsy to get back in behind the wheel. And here we are. As I said, the final split of the 4 Oceanic splits before we get off to North America tomorrow lunchtime.
And it has to be wet for qualifying.
A wet qualifying, Neil. Yeah, sounds good. I'm all for this. This is the second wet split we've had. I think last night we had a wet split.
Yeah, so obviously getting that braking right into Redgate turn 1 is going to be fairly tricky with the bit of a slippery track, and see how they go if they don't overshoot themselves. Getting their braking a bit wrong, but I'm sure these guys will just be testing the grip levels at the moment. We've only gone in there, so we've got 12 minutes. So yeah, they'll obviously just get a few times in early, and just to see where they can actually push a little bit harder. I should see there's some times coming, probably the last 5 minutes, hopefully.
We are joined this evening by John Senekis too, by the way. I don't know whether you've spotted him up there in his beloved Honda. I say beloved, he's got a very love-hate relationship with that vehicle. The man boobs Honda. We'll have to get a look at the livery at some point. So he's back in the Honda. He's given up on the Bentley, and he's also moved over here from Split Blue. It is not the man boobs Honda that I thought it would be. It's well, it is Kovac's man boobs man in the team name, but he's got a Marlboro livery that he used to run on the Honda, which I thought may make an appearance tonight. Maybe he didn't get that one submitted, but look forward to that one next week. But yeah, good to see John here, reunited with his brother Jean-Pierre, the two of them racing together again. As I said, John moving over here from Split Green, I think, something like that.
Yeah, and JP, obviously the brother, he's leading this championship by 5 points over Shady Samuel, who's in the Ferrari. So we'll obviously probably see some battles between the Bentley and the Ferrari tonight, I'd say.
I think it'll be the
Lucas Keys as well.
I think it'll be the Porsches that reign supreme. Oh, reign supreme, get it? I think it'll be the Porsches that do pretty well here if indeed it stays wet in the race. Although, looking at the weather widget there, it's still a wet track, but the rain has stopped here. So the track is going to continue to evolve over the next 11 minutes. These laps will get quicker and quicker. But that says to me we may not get rain in the race, so it's going to be a wet qualifying, which, as White Punchback quietly points it out, the Honda's not particularly strong in the wet. So welcome to Split Red, John. Have fun with that. On board with Carlos Johnson in a Porsche. He's had a couple of good weeks, looking to replicate those performances here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Stang's just up the road just a little bit as well, currently second in that BMW. He's, I think, running fourth in the championship as well, so probably a good showing for the BMW as well. Should suit this circuit.
BMW used to be super duper strong here, but back before we had LFM bops and all that sort of stuff, the BMW was the car of choice. I think when we did the endurance race here, I think half the field was BMWs, so still quite a nice car to drive around here, even with the added weight that it's carrying around.
Yeah, definitely. And not too sure if we've got any of the Mustangs. Obviously we saw in Split Blue earlier. I don't know if there's any of the drivers taking it on in Split Red.
I'm gonna just slide in here. How are we, boys?
Cameron Thistlethwaite. Hello, my friend. He's come in all guns blazing. Welcome to the
Surprise
Club.
attack.
Love that from you. All right, so we are 3 now. As I said, Jamie Conboy, Neil Haynes, and the great Cameron Thistlethwaite has joined us.
Don't say that T word.
Oh, it's great to have you here, Cameron.
It's great to be here as well, Neil. Fresh out of the car, just like Mr. JC. I just wanted to be here because I just want to share a comp box with JC. I'm sorry, Neil, but
I don't think we ever have comp before. Is that correct?
no.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Go. Happy
Let's
days
go.
tonight.
I mean,
mate.
I've come with Peach, you know, so you can't be any worse than that.
Oh wow! Hang on. The savagery's come out immediately. He's come in swinging.
There's swinging going on already in split red, and it's only in the commentary box.
Beckers has got another new livery, or is this this is the roadmap one kind of thing, the pieced together thing that he had at Brands Hatch.
Hey, he's looking right at the camera for us here. We're having a good look. He must have been watching the stream.
Of all the cars, that is one,
Oi.
isn't it? Carlos,
Oh.
no.
So you'll take out some of the styrofoam markers.
Tell you what, drying up very quickly here. The sun is out, and a racing line will develop. So with 8 minutes to go, this is going to continue to evolve this track. This is going to be a really interesting qualifying. I know we're sort of all having a giggle at each other now, but have a look over the next 8 minutes at how quickly these times drop. Who can acclimatise to these changing conditions?
Yeah, I think that last 5 minutes is going to be really exciting. I think it's going to, we're going to see those top fives just keep swapping constantly. And we'll see if Maloney can get anything out of this Porsche, currently in P10. Up a second, you can see here, as we're saying, JC, that the times are tumbling every lap we go.
Porsche normally renowned for being it's quite good in the wet, but I feel like, you know, if you're, it kind of comes down to the driver whether they're comfortable as the slow trickle from the pit exit. Of course, it's right into the firing line here at Donington, and frankly, people being sensible and looking in their mirrors, merging when appropriate. So Chris sang there in the BMW. Another quite strong car here, and obviously a very strong operator here at SRO Asia, Split Blood.
SRO Asia. It is. Look at it. Look at all these quality drivers. You could absolutely pass this off as SRO Asia. You could change the Simrigs Sprint Series title up the top there, call it SRO Asia, clip it up into highlights, and send it off out into the world. And I guarantee you, no one would call us on it.
Yeah, done your job for you, SRO. Although Peach will be like, I'm not pro.
Very good point, Ashlyn. Where are the Fords? Jesus, you've got a handle on that Ford very quickly, Ashlyn. You are terrifying up the front there. I was just saying before we got in here, I don't know whether you were catching me. I don't think you would have. I've had some good battles with you in the McLaren, and I thought, I'm around about the same pace as Ashlyn. This is great. Now that we're in equal machinery, that is clearly not the case. You're a very fast man in that Ford. You figured it out very quickly. Are there any Fords in this split? That'd be an interesting question to go and have a look at.
There is none, according to the entry list.
Sang goes bang. He's taken P1. Is there none?
No, not a single one. I was
Wow.
going to say, we didn't have that many people transition to the Fords over the splits.
There's a fair few in blue. There's a few that did it in blue. There's not as many as I thought there would be. You're spot on. There's
Yeah, there's a
couple in
few in
green,
our
couple in
split.
yellow.
There was one in yellow, and I think only a few in green as well, to be honest. It's a popular car, but not popular pick.
Jeez, I'm feeling a little bit hungry seeing Keeley here with the Chico Roll car just in front of BMW. So
Good old Mike Real.
who likes a good Chico Roll when you go to the races, eh?
It's a great lever, isn't it? He's done well there too. Mike Reel not on a valid lap, so jumps out of the way of Chris Cooley as he makes his way past on his valid lap. Great work there from Mike Reel, not getting in the way of Chris as he tries to ensconce himself in that top 10. Chester Lamb here in the Aston Martin. The Aston's another very strong car around here and is also pretty handy in the wet and the interchangeable conditions. So half a second up on his best lap so far. That'll stick him up around about P14, 15. But as I said, it's a long way to go on this one. This track's really drying out now. With 5 minutes to go, it'll be who can be on track last.
Oh, is this Setra? Oh, it's a pirouette and a half. And
Yeah,
right onto the racing line for a scare.
So that they're still probably running on some wets there. There's a bit of that spray as well coming up from the cars, isn't it? Probably still too wet for slicks, guys.
Yeah, I think we're...
Yeah. Yep, you wouldn't see me on slicks here just yet. It'd have to be another sort of 10 minutes, I reckon, before it really gets to that greasy / dry stage. But yeah, while it's still damp coming from wet, then you're better off on the wets. You're better off on wets that are sort of 33, 34 than slicks down in the 25s and 26s. So I think you're right. It's probably going to be wets to the end of this qualifying session. Cooley taking all of that curb and some.
I'm quite annoyed with the amount of track limits I got, and that's apparently legal.
That's because you need the Matchbox car rug livery, and you get away with everything.
Absolutely. Maybe that's how people are so pissed. They just don't get the track limit warnings. Make us look like mugs. As he comes through the final corner and into the Goddard's hairpin to see what Cooley can produce. He's about even on his delta. He's just going to set himself up for another lap. And taking the wide line to strain it out and reduce the amount of TC cut. John Sneakers in the 555 Honda. No man boobs livery in this case. Going well as well. Get a lot of laps in here. Lots of time. Very short lap time. You can get quite a few picks at the cherry tree.
That's going to bring him up the order.
Nice, John.
Second.
Very nice. Not bad for a bag of crap. That is the Honda, in my opinion.
Oh, I thought you were talking about John.
Yeah, I had to quickly confirm that. I was like, oh dear, I think it's Lucas Key's gone for a little slide at the old hairpin. A bit more of a slide than he needs to. It's a lovely shot here. Oh, another Porsche going sideways.
She's going very sideways.
There is drifting competitions here, but not this weekend. Oh, there's one say.
I think that's the second time
Just
around.
leave the camera there.
Been spun there earlier as well, so.
That is 10 out of 10 camera work, Ben Hignett. Well done.
I saw Ben Hignett out there. He had a can of oil just dropping it on the apex.
He's not going to improve on this lap, is John, but he's clearly got pace. So, don't know how Sainz managed to do a 30.3, 3/10 faster than anyone else is Sang currently. So I don't know how much more evolution we've got to go, or how many. Oh, Sadie's is around again. He's having a red hot crack at the 360 no scope. I think it's the tree, you said.
Potentially, I think there's a few of them in the Mercedes. They're trying to learn the Mercedes for the endurance event. Is that group? So I think there's a few in the same livery as well, and the sort of Vanta black with the purple. There's gonna be probably the penultimate runs for here. There's a few more people still coming out. Over a replay cameras, there's Key. My.
Yeah, the old hairpin is a fun corner, but I'll tell you what, this drifting style in this wet is obviously not doing them any favours, but I'm sure they're having a bit of fun out there at the same time.
This is it, though. This is what you want. This is the ultimate test, is these kind of conditions in qualifying. Because in a race, everyone's happy to just sort of... They just want to get to the end of the race and not get track cuts and keep their race pace going along at a nice tick. But here in qualifying, you know and you can see that everyone is pushing to the limit, trying to get themselves as high as they can on that grid. So there's no pussyfooting around. Everyone is sideways trying to find those extra tenths.
This looks like Samuel and Sneakers are stuck behind Real, and he's on a valid lap. He's entitled to do so, but it means everyone's kind of compromising themselves. And there's the back out. I'm not sure if there was a touch there or very close to, but you got to create your own space, and there's only 40 seconds left to get over the line for the last single run. Just wreck my hair in the 62 Porsche coming into the S's. Good run.
Last car that may be able to get another lap in, I think, Cameron. So if he wants one more, he might just get over this starting strip. It's going to be close.
Yeah, he might not need one more the way he's going at the moment. He's 6/10 up here, so this will put him on pole if he can manage to hang on to most of this delta. He has lost a 10th out of Melbourne there. And then coming into the last one here, he gained a lot on entry and then lost it all on exit. Is it going to be enough? It's going to be bloody close to pole. Manages to get there.
And Ricciuti, I don't think, got over the line to do another lap in the car behind him. Oh, he just misjudged it. I thought he left a bit too much of a gap there.
Yeah, he looked like he just missed that line there. As we got Cooley, he's up at the moment. Not enough for pole. He's got to try and get a little bit more out of it.
Sang's done. It's going to be P2 at the very maximum for him. It's a good cut from Curley through the run. 3 temps up. Don't think, the Porsche is probably the strongest car through this section, whether it's wet, dry, sunshine, thunderstorms, no matter what. But Aston's not too bad of a car going on power exit. 4 temps up now, a little bit creeping down. Last corner here, make it count. It's going to be enough for pole. It might not be, he's losing a little bit of time on exit as well. 3 temps should put him, there we go, P3 as well. I have noticed the deltas are a little bit terrible at this track, especially in that last corner.
Hold on here. Look at Sonicus here. Man that's leading this championship. Can he get it on the pole?
Yes.
He does. Nice run.
Nice. Oh, this is a good lap too. Tell you what, these last laps, this track really drying out. They really are putting up some times now. Lucas Keys improves by nearly 8 tenths and goes up in a P5. 3 tenths off pole. Fadley did a really nice last lap, but he didn't get one more in, so he wasn't able to improve on that last lap, and therefore it is Jean-Pierre Senekis who will lead us into turn 1. Nice work, Peach.
Looking pretty dry out there. Not seeing any puddles.
Not a cloud in the sky. Gorgeous day. Yes.
Lovely. Run over here. There's Peach from Rackmat, and Sang and Curley make up the second row. Another double Aston Martin is Keys, and then looks like the Honda of John as well. I believe that's Shady Samuel in the Ferrari on the 4th row. Not too sure who the other Porsche is. But yeah, absolutely stacked split, stacked grid, and maybe a few stacks into turn 1.
Speaking of stacks, Diabol's got stacks of information and he's put it in chat. Rain in 30 is the call.
That's juicy.
That will be juicy for this 1 hour. There's a mandatory stop for only the one for this round. It's not, we have seen the 2 mandatory stops in the opening, or last week actually, I mean 2 weeks ago when we were at Mazzano. So this
nice
one
to
here,
see Sean Muller's livery there.
Might just come in right time for him, and there we go.
So Babby's running Sean Muller's normal livery. It's great to see.
One of the LNR cars, the Mercedes. We've seen a couple of them going off, going through the Craner curves during qualifying.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them in those colours. There's 2 more here as well. Like, come on, paint your mirrors at least some bright colour so we can make it easy for us. But quite a few of the LOR, Legion of Racers, Ascent team, obviously wanted to try and get a handle on the Mercedes, but I haven't seen the Mercedes have really too much success around this track, that's for sure. It's great work. Running down the grid. That's like your old livery there. JC on the right, the Kovacs cars.
Yeah. Yeah, Tarks did a great job of whipping those up, and he made it so that you could basically change the base colour, and obviously all the liveries, the decals and stuff would stay on the top. You could have whatever colour you wanted. So
that's pro.
He's a professional livery creator, is Pete Viney, that's for sure. But I do like this one from Mike Reel too. I'm very partial to a Chico roll, so big fan of that one too.
Yeah, showing through to people who have just done a stint. That's evil. I need something. I need sustenance. There we go. We can see the rain in 30. Fast track, so not fully optimum. 19 ambient, 26 track as well. Very kind of difficult to kind of get the tires in the window. You kind of have to be really on pace. If you kind of like back off around this track, your tires kind of really fall out the window. They need the energy of the high-speed corners to really kind of keep them in the right windows.
That rain icon in 30 is interesting too. It's a heavy rain icon. It's not medium rain or light rain. That is properly heavy rain coming out of nowhere in 30 minutes. So I was going to pose the question, do these guys have enough rain that they actually have to change tyres? If it is just a short burst of light rain, you'll probably see them carry on the slicks. And because it's coming in 30, it's ideal time to get into that pit stop. So now it's kind of just sold it for them. They wait for the rain. All of these guys would have filled up for probably 40% of this race, knowing that the rain will hit in 30. and that the track will take a little time to get to the point where you want wet tyres, so they'll run for 40 minutes on these slicks, I would suggest, and then they'll all box and get on those wet tyres on that in that heavy rain. So the last 20 minutes of this race will be wet.
Yeah, we should probably see it come alive as well, because you know, you might get one of those drivers, might just try and come in that little bit early as well and get on those wet tyres. So wait and see what happens with this weather. We know that sometimes it does vary up a little bit, so but you see that does look like it's going to be some heavy showers in about 30 minutes time.
The race director will be calling double file run about now, and it is quite a late run before they get the green flag. So everyone dashes to catch up and form up. Big opportunity breaking overtaking zone right here. It'll be very interesting seeing, you know, it's touted as SRO Asia. It just means they're fast, doesn't mean they got the best racecraft, and you know, there might be a few spills out there. So run around the final corner. So it'll be a late run, they'll hold them for a while, and it'll be a very short run to T1. Race directors, come on, get on the nose. Shady, come on, you're leaving a big gap there, Shady. You need to get closer.
Good pen for that one, I think.
They'll be waiting. When will go green right there, as Sang looks to get a little bit of jump, but nowhere to really go right now. There's back right around, holding around the outside. It's going to be still 2x2x2, and it's going to be a 2x2. I think Rackman's got the slight jump on the Bentley. Still 2x2, and Sneakers are going to have around the outside, and going to have the desired line for the old hairpin as they all thunder through. Oh, Keys right on the back of Sang as well, as JP comes the line. Oh, Sang grabs it up as they nearly exit stage right, and they all come through now into the Starksley's Bridge and into McLean's. Been very good so far. Not seeing too many yellows out there. No cars stranded upside down on the side of the tracks. Like we're at the sea, but it's not over as a run down here through copies and down into the S's as well. Sang losing out to Cooley, sort of a major change at the start. Rackmats wants that lead back. Sang's gonna send it. Nope, he holds back. And bye-bye tyre barriers as expected. And Rackmat really close on the back of Sanika. Goes to the left, doesn't send it up the inside. Trying to send it around the outside, probably get shoved wide of it. If you can get a good exit, you might have the inside line for the next corner, and a Peach knows that he's trying to cover him off. See if they can get through. Yep, Peach covers it up nicely.
Oh, it's opened the door there too for Cooley, who got his nose up the inside in the last corner and is now investigating the back of Rackmat, but didn't quite get it done. So a good first lap there from Peach. We noticed that Peach had some issues at Masano in getting the tyres warmed up on the Bentley, so I think that's why he's sort of having to cover off Rackmat in those last couple of hairpins especially, but mostly throughout that lap he was taking some defensive lines, but he's managed to do that. You would expect Peach to find some pace now as we get onto the second and third laps, but that was a pretty good opening. No safety car called, and there was a little Barney in turn one back through the back of the field, and I think it was Lamb, the car 8 Aston Martin, who's fallen down to the back of the field because of that. But other than that, everyone got away pretty cleanly. I'm interested to see what happened to, I think it was Shady Samuel we were talking about, who was well out of position, and then it looked like he must have started in second gear because he just didn't get off the line at all.
Left an airplane size gap on the lead, and might have been a misunderstanding as Sang. Oh, there we go. He's been absolutely mugged as well to start. V8 from the Mercedes and the BMW as well, and he gets a touch from behind him. It was that Babby potentially, but doesn't go fully around and just cuts across the grass. I think no harm, no foul too much. Might be a bit of a racing incident, but a terrible start for sure for Shady Samuel.
Yeah, he'll be getting back into it though, Shady.
Oh, Keys into Sang.
Oh, there's a moment there.
Keys has been a good fella and gave him a bump, turned him around again, so he's sent him on his way, but I think he'll still cop a little invoice for that one.
Yeah, I'll do nothing to appease Keys on that one, Sang on that one, and so easy to do. And it was like Sang was looking to V off the corner a little bit and slowed a bit too much at the exit, but to be fair, you know, it's the requirement of the car behind to not go into the car in front. Rackma is not letting Peach have any room to think right now. So, yeah, not too surprisingly if Peach had a bit of issues with getting the tyres up to temperature. Like, to be honest, at this track, you don't really have it's quite a short lap, so you didn't have much of a formation lap to get the pressures up, to be honest. Yeah, Rackmack looking on it right now.
And Satchery in position 9's doing a good job for first of the silver class cars in the Mercedes. So we know that the Mercedes are a bit of a handful around here, but up in the top 10 early on, that's a good going for him.
I don't know what was going on at the front of Split Blue, but it was pretty hard to overtake here at this track, and that's what I think most of us found in Split Blue. And obviously the splits last night in wet weather would have been a bit of a different story, but I would expect here in Split Red, with everyone just sort of being around about the same pace, especially in this top 10, these guys all either aliens or bloody close to it, they will they won't be doing too much to cost themselves too much time. So we can see Fadley all over the back of Peach, but I don't know how much he'll be actually asking the question, and Peach will know that, and he'll just sort of keep himself on his line, and it'll be up to the pit stops and the rain later on to see this race kick off, I think.
So much faster than the Porsche. It's such a way faster car through the last two hairpins. But the problem is, I'm not sure if he can really get enough of a good run through the S's against Peach, and it's like he's all over him right now. But I think Peach with the Bentley can afford to kind of pop and skip those curbs a little bit better. As looks like Maloney's running alongside with John Sanikas. I was going to say John was struggling a little bit right now, and has kind of let Tom Maloney go. And a little bit of a bad run as well, and he's going to give Sang something to think about as he looks to kind of recover from his unfortunate spin with Keys.
I don't know if JP's a little bit slower in the second sector, but definitely Cooley got onto the back of these guys fairly easy in that second sector. So now it's a three-way battle. We did see the previous lap, both the Bentley and the Porsche pulling away from the Aston in the first sector, but Cooley's now well and truly in contention here, fellas.
As you say that, Cooley's gone and done the purple lap, so it could be a combination of the two, but I don't think Page and Rackmatt are going all that slowly. I think Cooley's just caught up to him because he is properly quick in this Aston Martin. So, as you said, it is a three-way battle now, and Rackmatt will be feeling the pressure from behind while also trying to say to Page, hey, let's get a move on.
Oh, he's right on the bumper here.
Gonna be enough for a crisscross. Rackmatt covers it off. He knew it before he even had to do it. So I'm gonna say it's given Peach a little bit of a breathing zone, as Hewley in the Aston Martin's probably got a little bit more grunt where it matters from over the Porsche. Yeah, doing favors for Peach right now. To compromise Rackmatt's line through the S's a little bit, but gets away with it. You can see Ricciuti, it looks like he's battling with Bushel. I'm sorry, that might be Viney, I should say. Doing a good job there as well.
Yeah, Ricciuti always seems to find to get himself onto camera. It's a striking Lambo that he runs for quite a few years now.
Oh,
oh, here we go. Aside from one of the LOR cars, I think.
Yeah.
Two Mercedes.
Yeah, I was going to say John just lost the position to Sang and has gone a drive-through. I wonder if that's track limits already. I was going to say I got 3 warnings within the first 10 minutes. It's not impossible out there.
Wow.
Definitely a track that punishes you if you make a mistake. Some of these corners you can't afford to arrest the speed off, and it just thinks you're trying to cut it completely. It is a brutal track.
So, Sonicus has been able to have a bit of a margin now, so something, I wonder if Cooley had a go somewhere or a little mistake from Rackmatt earlier, but obviously just dropped away from the lead. Maybe it's just the pressure that Cooley's put in on Rackmatt here, just slowing the Porsche down a little bit. Sonicus with the fastest lap, the previous lap around, taking that off Cooley.
So the Bentley is maximum kilos lost currently for this race, 40 kilos. being the maximum you can do, and it's got all 40 taken off of it. Shady Samuel looks to have a go at Satra. Some very late jinx. I'm not hoping that's not the case of people moving under braking. It's not what we like to see, but we'll see what happens. We know Satra has been here for a few seasons now. He debuted a couple of seasons ago, I believe, in Spit 14, and did a very good job straight out of rookies. And obviously part of the Legion of Racers crew as well, you know, they're not a slow bunch over there.
We've got a replay here.
There's Lucas Keys in the red Bentley going around the outside of Corey Sweet in that BMW, that glorious orange BMW. Didn't have rights to this hairpin, I wouldn't suggest. He sent it very deep there, and Corey Sweet had to open the door for him, and in doing so, one of the LOR cars has said, I'll have some of this as well. That's as John is going in there for his drive-through. So that move there from Lucas Keys potentially drawing the eye of the stewards. They'll be having a little look at that, I would suggest. Poor old John's come here from bloody some other split where he keeps getting punted. Now he's not getting punted, doesn't know what to do with himself, so he's just go, I'll get some track limits instead.
Rackmack has got the fastest lap. It's been swapping from third to first and now to second, guys. So it's very entertaining up here at the front. Timekeepers changing the fastest lap between these drivers.
Yeah, so I think the gap that Rackmack had to Page has been able to kind of do his own pace a little bit, not necessarily be right up the bumper and slowly catching away. I think, you know, to be honest, they dropped back from Page a little bit just when Cooley was having a little bit of a go, and that's all it takes, you know, once you move up the line. It is a big momentum second, that's quite late. Whoa. But, you know, make the apex. It's very tricky to break his own into the last corner, as that's very wide from one of the black Mercedes, and it's get passed by another Mercedes. I don't know which ones they are, they all look the same.
Gonzalez going past Woon here. And then Rockford in the purple Kovacs livery there as well, being put under pressure from Kwan. So those three Mercedes there, they're a very menacing sight there for poor old Rockford, who's got to contend with them all zigzagging around behind them. But further up there, that is Pete Viney and David Bartlett we came on board with before, who were having a ding-dong battle. Bartlett looks like he's got a little bit extra pace on Pete Viney, but Pete Viney's very, very experienced driver, so he'll be just putting that car in all the right places.
I don't think I've seen Viney in the Porsche before. He's been in the BMW for a long time, but that might be enough of an opportunity as he clattered the inside curb. And Bartlett gets alongside him. Bartlett cuts the corner completely, whether that's legal or not, and Viney had to check up a little bit on there. So we'll see on that one, but I don't think there's anything to really call on that one. It's the pack of Mercedes, all these, like, you know, like... Ooh, I think someone else went off there. There's the Aston Martin of Lamb.
Someone's gone off there, but it's they're really in a pack here, the LOR cars. They're all the sea of Mercedes.
It's like Agent Smith. Just loads of them.
That's it.
This is a massive gaggle of cars here, really. There's a couple of two wides going on back through the hairpin there. Those Mercedes are still doing battle. There's a couple turned around now too. It's all happening back here. Look at it, big traffic jam. He'd really call a safety car for that. I wonder whether Johnson X is. John has managed to make it through all that. So he's done his drive-through. He found himself in a big old gaggle of cars, and 3 or 4 of them just parted ways for him. So he'll be enjoying that.
That's happening. That's Saturate off as well. That's the other one of the other Mercedes as well. The LOR Ascent crew looks like they're off at old hairpin. There's even when it's wet or dry, they seem to be having trouble coming down this hill. Get a replay here
as they all come into Goddard. Tripping over themselves. Oh, this is a chicane.
John looking to recover from his earlier drive-through. Probably lessons learned on that one. It's pretty much what I did as well. So Scotty Rockford on attack from Kwan in the one of the Mercedes. You got Mike Real just behind as well. Very menacing looking in the mirror. And he does what he needs to, just take his line, and they just have to deal with it. Oh, and that's one
of the Porsches. Vinny.
Oh, it's Tux. It is Pete Viney.
Satra into Viney. Oh dear. I think this was team onto action. I was going to say, like, there's only one car that could have gone into him, and everyone has to check up. Everyone's got damage.
Oh. That's a case of
bit
7
there.
doesn't go into 1. There.
No, it's
Oh.
not.
Old man Stu Matthews comes through and gives him how for.
Oh man. And look,
Hey,
guys, the
just
way we're
wants to be
looking going
involved.
through that in 10 minutes' time, they think that the rains might be here. Margin, as you said, it's only going to be a brief one. We've got the cloudy skies again after, so they might be able to get through this and maybe just staying on this guys. They might not have to go the west, depending. Oh, look at that.
That's just too late on the brakes there from one of those Mercedes, unfortunately.
It's a very deceptive braking zone. You think you brake too early, and then the car just doesn't stop.
So that rain is particularly interesting because it is going to be heavy rain. But yeah, it may only go for sort of 10, 15 minutes, and then it is going to be dry again. So with sort of 15 minutes to go on this race, we'll be back on dries, potentially. I can't see wet tyres going for 15 minutes on a dry track. I think most people are going to have to either stop twice or, as you said, try and wait out the rain. But with that being heavy, if it was light rain, you'd probably get away with it. But being heavy rain, I think that's going to cause all sorts of mayhem. I think people are going to have to pit twice.
It's going to be a headache, isn't it? And Lucas Keys has still got that 15-second time penalty he's going to have to serve in his pit stop as well.
Oh, Mike.
Mike Reel.
Having a go down now through Goddard. So Goddard's, if you had a ticket, that's where you want to sit because there's been so much action.
That was pretty clean. He just small little tap, sent him round, didn't fire him into the line. Good takedown.
Those LOR cars getting a little bit back on their own there. They've caused a bit of trouble so far, but they've got a little bit of a karma smack there.
You're going to see
Anyway.
on Race Car Directs 4 used Mercedes.
Back up the front.
The Lightning, obviously saying split blood, really living up to its name. As we've come to think of it, this has probably been one of the messier rounds, I'd have to say, out of the opening 2 rounds. That was fairly good. And here we go on replay.
Ooh, was that Annie and Mike Reel? I think that's Mike Reel's Chico livery.
Yeah,
I don't know whether that's Annie's purple Kovacs.
I think you're right.
Annie
He's
just
got
getting...
the Chico roll in the sand, guys. That's a sin there.
I must say, Annie used to have a 9.99 safety rating on LFM, and that's all gone to garbage in the last couple of months. He's down in the 7s now, I'm hearing. And now that's translating into his Sprint Series races as well, because he's gone to give Mike a turn.
What absolute terror.
He's a menace.
He's unsuspecting. He looks like, just a little friendly guy. Absolute menace on the track.
I've seen him without a shirt on. He's got nipple rings.
Ooh,
So that's why he's a menace. He's actually just a closet menace.
there you go. And Ison up into 9th position as well. We were talking, I think he's one of the drivers with LOR. I think he was a AM driver or Pro-Am driver last season and moved up to the silver class. So leading the way for the LOR guys. So a lot for the other guys to take on board, as he seems to always find himself nibbling in the top 10, Ison.
It's good that they have a professional leader up there. He's in P9 at the moment, started P12. So as you said, he's doing very nicely. Currently in the silver class lead, leading Michael Babb, who's come up here from the blue split. So he's joined his Kovacs brethren in the later Thursday split.
So what do you reckon? Spidey's saying, so don't sign up for split red, gotcha, he reckons. But, you've got to come in for a bit of fun. Get the commentators having a good talk to you all about you and keeping the viewers entertained.
I'm happy in split blue with you, Spidey. Let's stay in split blue. I'm with you. Let's not get involved in any of this kind of fisticuffs. I think we're just happy cruising around split. We had a good little battle with you too, by the way. Nice work from you. Very nicely up there in the top 10 you were.
Yeah, got up in the top 10. He's doing really good. And Mia's, I thought she was going to be asleep. She's still typing away probably as she's trying to doze off. There you go.
More incidents at the Melbourne hairpin, 3 and 71. I think that is Mike Reel and someone else's, probably a Mercedes. When there's 4 of them, it's a good shot. I saw Rackmat and Peach were getting right on the grass at the old hairpin as well, and I wonder what's going to go through Rackmat's mind in terms of he clearly needs a mistake from Peach to get past, because he can just afford to sit on the lines, and as long as he doesn't make a mistake and getting past. But what's he going to do in terms of the strategy? Oh, Mercedes going to send it, and Paul Whitey's going to be hit again.
Parks has copped another one. I wonder if that's the same Mercedes. They've all got the same liveries. It's hard to tell. But if
Well,
that's the
that was
same one, what
Yeah.
are we doing?
It's like a hive mind. It's just one driver driving with all four of them.
I don't. There'll be calls of suspension maybe shortly. They're getting involved in a lot here at the moment, but obviously they just need to calm down, I think, a little bit. Maybe get those you were saying earlier, Cameron. Maybe you just have to get that braking done a little bit earlier.
I do like Kumar's comment in chat earlier, what LOB might stand for now. But I was going to say, the cloud cover's now come over, and the rain is soon. And how
It's gone
much
dark, hasn't it?
rain? The sun is gone.
So what would you do, right? It's all easy to sit here, couch potatoes, after the fact and say, oh, I would have done that. What would you do? Before the rain comes, you in chat, we'll have a crack at it up here in box. What would you do with the information that you have, knowing that it said at the start of the race it was 30 minutes away, and now it's probably 10 minutes away, and we know that it's going to get dry? What are you doing?
I would drive to the conditions. Because right now, trying to foresee anything is, I think, absolutely impossible. I know that's boring, but I think that's the case right now.
That would have been my answer too, and it's a lesson that I think we've all... Oh, there's the plane. Off he goes. That's the 9:43 to London, leaving and departing.
Late as usual.
I'm with you, Cam. Yeah, drive to the conditions is the #1 lesson I think we've all learnt with ACC, and you really got to drive to just what's in front of you, because the rain is inconsistent. What it does to the track condition is inconsistent, and how long it stays. You think you've got an idea, and then it never really lasts that long, and then sometimes it dries out super quickly, and then sometimes it doesn't dry out at all. Here it is. We're getting sprayed. Straight away, the leader's off onto the grass there. I don't think it's going to cause...
Still 10 minutes of rain.
I'm surprised. Yeah, it's...
That's a long time to try and hold it out. And how wet is it going to get? It's a cold track as well, and if it's cold, it means that they don't dry out very quickly.
Already
it's
back to
just gone
fast.
Too fast, yeah, we're going to say that. So it's probably going to drop fairly quick, that condition of that track. But look,
Easy.
I'd be almost going in and just getting some slicks on. I mean, some wets on. If you're going to look at a two-stopper, maybe, and try and get back onto the slicks
I'd box
for the
this lap.
last 10 minutes or so.
Or would PH box that? You're the
Already
first one
greasy.
over. What are you going to do? Because everyone's going to, react to you as
look at
Corey
that
Sweet.
BMW.
Well, we're going to find out. The leader's coming around the final corner now, and we are already greasy. I wouldn't be surprised to see one or two of them risk it for the biscuit and dive in there. None of the three leaders have.
To be fair, it might not be wetter off right now, but next lap round we'll see.
But if you've got you
Sang.
come in, and by the time you do your pit stop, you've got a 35-second pit stop. Is it going to be... Oh, there's a couple coming. Oh, that was aggressive into the pit lane, Shay. He almost drifted it in there. There's a couple in
Rain
Stu's
plus.
in there.
Look at the 10. It's plus.
Wow.
Heavy plus or medium plus or whatever it is. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's wet.
Yep. It is
There's
wet.
a few penalties coming out there. So Keys, Johnson, Lamb, I think a few of those paddlings have been sent out in the mail from the first few incidents. I think this is going to be too long to hold out. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go.
I was going to say this is where it's going to be won or lost here. I think they just got to keep it on the black stuff here for this last part of the lap. I reckon you're going to see these leaders in. They've already seen some of their opposition behind already coming in for their stop.
Yeah, well, Sang's the watch, isn't he? Sang's the watch now with Samuel, and I mean Samuel was probably a fair bit off the lead, but Sang has gone early. A bit of blue flag traffic here for Jean-Pierre and Rackmat. Rackmat almost having to get out of it there as the McLaren cut back across. Hopefully that McLaren gets out of the way, because this is the battle for the lead. You would hope that McLaren gets out of the way here at some point. The leaders are in. Page is in. Rackmat is in. Cooley follows them in. Easy decisions for Rackmat and Cooley just to follow Page on in there.
Maloney. Here comes Maloney. Keys. Yep. I was going to say it's gone to damp, and that's when the slicks stop working. They give up all the go. The guys in Motorsport, Corey Sweet as well comes in. Yep. Pretty safe bet. Is this going to be... What's it going to be for Sang? Surely he must be going quicker than the guys are going for the last corner, but, you know, it only went damp at the last minute. See how much time they've lost.
There's already spray coming off those tyres as well, so I think they did a right call, but as you said, we'll see how they feed
This
back
could be
out
huge for Sang.
How far
Dang
back
it,
was
back.
Sang? Was it sort of 6 or 7 seconds?
Yeah, I think that I reckon that Rackmac and Sonica should be able to get back out. I think they're just starting to move
Cars are
now.
moving. Speed is ahead, still a Rackmat. And who's not with him? Where's Cooley? Where's Cooley?
There he is.
Is that Sang in the background pitting again? Or is that a different BMW? No, it might be a different.
no,
Never mind.
He's coming
Apologies.
down the straight now.
Cooley, what's happened to Cooley? He's been absolutely left for dead from the other two. He was right on the back of Rackmat, and now is probably a good 10 seconds behind. Keys as well. Keys also, like, being held for a long time. What have they done?
Well,
John?
I think Keys actually had a 15-second time penalty, so he
yes.
would have had to stay there, so he lost out a little bit there.
But Cooley, surely.
Maybe missed his marks, I'm not too sure. Don't know why he would have been in there for so long.
He must have missed the marks by a long way, because as Cam said, he's lost at least 10 to 15 seconds there.
Fully
Don't
wet
know whether
now.
he maybe didn't quite have his pit stop ready to go and had to sit just behind his box, set it up, and then get into the box. Maybe that's
Yeah,
anything
it
I
was-
can think of.
Yeah, maybe it was a quick decision to go in, and yeah, maybe they were hedging their bets, maybe not to go onto the wets with that early prediction of just that little bit of rain. But I think this rain's going to stick around now.
Yeah. Even when it stops, how long
It's
it's
gonna
going to
stay
take to
wet,
dry
yeah.
out. But
Yeah,
we
it should
might-
be wets to the end now.
Could end up with a few fairly hot wets at the end of the race, depending on how we go. But it's brought Sang back into contention a little bit. He'd be quite annoyed because, you know, he was right with this pack until unfortunate was a hit from Keys. Yeah, Cooley's really dropped back. But we saw he's got pace, and he can definitely got enough time to recover.
Rusciuti spending his time in P1 here, still out on the slicks here. He's got a Chiquito bar all over him.
I fear he's going to get taken out at this rate.
Oh.
The amount of cars that are way too.
Oh,
Gone wide there.
oh
Ugh.
my goodness. Sort it out.
I respect it, Richardy, but still.
Oh, what is happening?
Oh, no.
What is that Mercedes doing? Oh,
Oh,
come
no,
on.
you can't do that. Come on now. What is that? Come on. Oh, goodness.
Letting off
Just
and
managed-
then letting people go and then going past them again and then.
The thing is
Shock.
that we saw the same thing there, yeah? He let
Yeah.
him go and then hit him and then almost took offence that he'd overtaken him, so went and gave him a fair old boot. What are we doing?
Yeah, check yourself.
And poor old Ricciuti has just been lobbed back into the blue flag traffic, so that's Peach making his way through and let Rackmat through as well, but Rackmat got cost a little bit of time there, so not too much, wasn't too bad, but poor old Ricciuti is it's just gone from bad to worse for him, unfortunately.
It looks like
Go on.
he's staying out, guys. He's still not coming in, Rusciuti, so he's holding on to third position. Out on the slicks, he's trying to toughen out.
Yeah, why though? Like, he's still got a mandatory stop to do. Like, surely you'd just get in there and get it done with the rain obviously hanging around for the next sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes at least. Get
I
in the
think he
pits
only-
there, Ricciuti.
Yeah, I think he's just maybe thinking that was hoping that rain would just stop and, he could just hold out that little bit longer and come back in the pits. But look at him here, the old hairpin. He's already on the grass, so it's,
The rain could
it's-
stop now and it'd still be 10 minutes away from getting those tyres working again.
Yeah, exactly. But that's he's probably just thinking these things. But wondering why he didn't go in the pits that last lap, even the lap before. But anyway, he's still out there, slipping and sliding away as
Yep.
Sang goes by.
Shady Samuel here in the wet as well. Got Keys on the back of him as well, having served his 15-second penalties for his collision with Sang. Play Ferrari, you know, only car with a proper working TC, generally works pretty well in the wet as a result. I was curious about these two because I wasn't surely Rackmat must be a bit more at home in the wet with the Porsche than the Bentley, but you know, Peach is oh, as he goes wide right there, commentary curse working right in action. Little curse, but he got away with it. As John's doing a good job in the Bentley.
There's confirmation, guys. The rain looks like she's staying there, up on that top right.
Oh yes, I think it will stop for a period, but then we'll come back by the end of the race as well, so that might cement things.
Shooter's in the pits. He's finally bitten that bullet and got himself in there to get himself some wet tyres, but he will drop right back through the field now. Tell you what, a little early shout for driver of the day would have to be Tom Maloney, who started in P8, and he's just kept his nose clean.
Did you see how sideways Rackmat got there? Sorry to interrupt. At 200 kilometers an hour.
Well, I was just going to say how good
Maloney as well.
At the same corner, yeah, how good the Porsche is in the wet, but clearly not at that corner, as Rackmat and Maloney both get a little sideways there.
And on the exit there. It's definitely slippery out there, fellas. They're pushing and they're earning their keep here. And,
please have a replay. Yes, thank you so much, man. Watch this, because he got really sideways. Touch that curb.
Whoa. What a save.
Excellent stuff.
This would be Thomas on the same corner, doing the same thing. Yeah, just a bit of curb there, upset the car, and then he had to catch it as well. So both Porsches getting a little bit squiggly there. But
well, I like my front engine.
Oh, Rackmat with a drive-through. Rackmat has got himself a drive-through, and there goes that battle for P1. Peach will be breathing a very big sigh of relief, now knowing that Rackmat will have to box eventually. He's got 3 laps to do it, so you would suggest that he'll probably try and drag this out as long as he can and not get caught up in too much blue flag traffic behind him. But that is the battle for the lead, dead and done. Peach can just take the pedal off the metal and cruise his way home for the next half an hour. He's got a 7-second gap to Tom Maloney, so he won't be catching him. Peach will be very happy to see that from Rackmat.
Apparently, Rackmat had to take avoiding action from a lap car, and they got the drive-through.
Oh dear.
Which might need to investigate that one a little bit. But, you know, to be fair, he must have been on 3 already. You know, can't put it always down to that, but, you know, it's unfortunate as well. It's understandable. Yeah.
That'd be a replay to go and watch, Ben. If you can find where the Rackmat drive-through occurred,
it's probably
we can sort of determine whether or not he had other options or whether he literally just got a drive-through from no fault of his own. Because look at Lucas Keys, also sideways. Plenty of cars having trouble with that little downhill left-hander.
Yeah, Keys is looking really, really strong here in the Aston.
Here it is.
Yeah, the S's. I was going to say, this place, unfortunately, if you have to cut the... yeah. Yeah, if you cut it at all with the speed that you have, the game just thinks you tried to.
And all the mist, yeah, you can see the car up there, but he can't go left there. He can't go left. He has no other option. That's an interesting one. The stewards will probably have to have a little sympathy there potentially, but they can't re-add the warnings.
No, there's nothing you can really do, because unfortunately that kind of really, you know, everyone who goes off there, whether it's mistake or it's, you know, things are going to get messy otherwise. It's unfortunate, but yeah, he was on 3 warnings to begin with, and you know, I think Peach would have got a warning as well, based on how much he had to cut, and you know, he's the one who doesn't have a drive-through. Unfortunately, that's the real tough luck of it.
It is tough luck, unfortunately. That's a good shout from you, Cam. As you said, Peach had to take the same avoiding action and didn't get himself a drive-through. So, wow.
Playing the game, because it's brutal there. If you cut it, it just thinks you're cheating, and then you're like 1 second down as a run down to the Melbourne hairpin.
Bradley will take solace in the fact that he has the purple lap, and no one's going to be beating it because we are not improving in condition. So he'll keep that. I think you keep that here in OR, don't you, regardless of where you finish? It's not like an F1 thing where you got to finish in the top 10. If Bradley were to fall to P12 or 13, he'd still get that bonus point.
I think so. I'm not too sure. I haven't had a look at the point scoring in that sense.
Yeah, I think it keeps it regardless. And I dare say, to be honest, with the pace he's got, he could get back in the top 10.
He'd
He does pull out a bit. It's 63. Ooh, just a lazy spin.
Oh, is not, oh, I thought it was going to be a rejoin. That's okay. Never mind. Play on.
So
He's still not.
now.
Sorry, go on, Neil.
Yeah, Ratmack's serving his drive through, so we'll just see where he pops out. He should be able to probably come out there just behind Curley, I'd say.
It is one of the shortest pit lanes in the game.
So
If you're going to get a driver, get one here.
Through now.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
I think he'll be safe from Sweet. I think he's going to get out in time, for sure.
Racing in the rain is properly fun, Luke. It really separates the wheat from the chaff too. You got your good drivers who have been doing it for a while, and you see them really come out and shine. Speaking of shining, this is Shady Samuel trying to hold off Lucas Keys, who's done pretty well to battle back to P8 after getting a big whack, and he's gone with the over-under there. That's a nice move in the Bentley from Lucas Keys. Gets one done on Shady Samuel.
Yeah, nice move, and got it done before they get all a little bit slippery here at the old hairpin. Yeah, we could see a good little drive back through with Rackman in that Porsche too, so he'll obviously be aiming to latch on the back of Kearley. He's got about a 5-second margin there to try and bring back to get to the back of Kearley.
Babbage right there. He's like not too far back here from Shady Samuel. Might be eyeing a P8. Not bad for the silver class driver.
Yeah, excellent job, definitely.
Ray will be very happy with.
Seng's
10
been
minutes.
slowly catching Maloney too. So Seng was about 1.2 seconds behind about 3 laps ago. So he's put that down to half the distance, so the time. So next couple of laps, Seng may be looking to get up into P2.
Absolutely. I was going to say, early shout for driver of the day, Maloney. And it's only looking even better with Rackmet having his drive through. But he's got to contend with Sang, but still, walk away with some silverware.
John's done bloody well here to fight his way back up to P12 too. He was in the middle of the 20s, I think, at some point. Stu Matthews P23 at the moment. I think John was back there with him. I'm not sure how far he fell at his worst point, but yeah, to be back up there in P12, that's a good effort from John in the Honda. And as Lunchbag said, he'll be loving life in the Honda in the wet. Notoriously tricky to navigate the wet conditions in the Honda.
As his battle for second has really come alive now, so this is going to be interesting. Bit of lap traffic in front of Maloney. He gets out of the way nicely for these two.
That's good blue flagging. Beautiful. I don't know who that McLaren was before, but they should take notes on that one.
That's a nice textbook blue flag. Saying,
Well, you say McLaren because the only ones are your Kovacs members, so you go.
So speaking of Kovacs members, Maloney will have to channel his inner Carl Johnson here to defend like a lion and keep Sang behind. It's going to be a really tall task, I think. That BMW's looking like it's on rails in the hands of Sang, whereas we've seen Tom get a little bit slippery and slidey over the last couple of laps, so he's fighting that Porsche. So it'll be a bloody good effort if Tom can hang on. It's still 22 minutes to go. There's still a long way to go.
Such a balmy run going down the hill here, the first sector, and then coming back up it. It's just about. It's obviously pretty much flat in the dry, but in the wet, it really makes you kind of have to drive the car. Porsche gets a little bit squirrely on exit, but ultimately gets the power down, I think, better out that corner. But Sang, and he's right there on the back of the Porsche as well.
How is this view? This is an awesome camera angle.
First have to have a run. He's thinking about it. Kind of like,
He's going to have a dive.
Oh, that's going to be a bit late and goes a bit too deep. But if we can keep it on alongside, but no. Tom Maloney sees him coming and undercuts him perfectly.
Yeah, beautifully done there by Tom. Hangs on for one more lap at least. But you can see Sang is certainly investigating. He's going to make some moves. He's not going to die wondering here.
No, he's saying obviously, Chris obviously wants to try and get up into that second position. May even move him up to third in the championship too, because he's only a handful, about 14 points I think it is, behind Lucas Keys, who's currently in 7th as well. So if Chris can get up in front, it's going to, oh, look at the slide coming over the camera.
Yeah, definitely going to be wet to the end. Where did Rashudi come out after all that? He's down in 16th and still 15 seconds behind P15, so yep, it's a valiant effort. So we go playing, watching, come through to the airport.
Last one was what, 9:43, so they're every 20 minutes, are they? Is that known, or do they change? I think that the last one was 20 minutes ago, so I assume they're probably every 20 minutes. We'll get one more before the end of this race, probably on the last lap.
Oh,
And
nice,
again,
have another go.
Down inside.
Looks like he's pulled it up much better this time into the apex, and is probably going to hang on to this now.
Yeah.
Tom's going to try and get it back. He got the traction down nicely, but he's going to have the outside line. Sang will defend the inside. And as long as he makes the apex here pretty cleanly. Oh, Tom got a good run, but Sang had the car in all the right places. Nice work from Sang to move himself up into P2.
So he basically had to go to the previous lap, and this time at the same corner, he got it done right, and he rewarded up into second position. So good move by Chris, and as he said, put the car, just parked it right in the right spot. So Tom couldn't try and get that run down these pit straight.
Page isn't that far up the road. He's 10 seconds, and depending on what the pace that Sang has underneath him, could be something to think about for Page. So I thought he would have had a bigger gap at this rate, but maybe kind of just neutral pace to everyone else around him. We shall see what Sang can produce. Keeley hasn't really been able to latch back onto the. He's kind of still recovering from. I'm not sure what happened in the pits, but maybe he just wanted to give himself a bit of a challenge. But I think the rain is enough challenge for most of us, put it that way.
I think Page would have just been cruising around nicely over the last sort of 10 minutes, especially since Fadley has dropped back. But now that he's got past Maloney, Tom and on Page will be on comms, and Tom will let him know he's through. So Page will just start to get another 10th or 2 out of his bag. And Sang will have to find 8 to 9 tenths per lap to even be up behind him before we get to the end of this race. So it'll be a huge effort from Sang, I think, if he can close this 10-second gap. And it would probably take either some blue flag shenanigans or obviously Page to make a mistake. But Page has looked bloody solid here in the Bentley tonight. Pretty slow.
Cool. How cool's the name? The Peach boating for this round as well. For the track, it's just
very appropriate.
It's very appropriate. But I think he's just doing a real calculated drive now. As you said, he knows when Matt had that drive through. He's just been able to just really concentrate here in the wet, not do anything silly.
Good point from Spidey in chat. He's only 1 or 2 bad blue flags away, or just a moment. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly right. That's why I'm saying. I think he's just making sure that he's just not pushing to put himself in that situation with the blue flags, or getting in the wrong part of the circuit here in the wet.
See, Rackmat is closing, I think, on Cooley, under 2 seconds between them. I think Maloney might be a bit out of reach for Rackmat, but Cooley is going to be right there. Chase Samuel navigates one of the Mercedes as they go side by. The 2 Mercedes going side by side as we all kind of close our eyes and think they all come out the other side.
Well, you can open them because they got through.
Where the hell's Babby though? Babby was P9, and this is the battle. Oh no, these guys are a lap down. That's Angelo Gonzalez in P19. I was going to say, Babby's in P9 and he's behind all of these cars. I don't understand with Shady up there, but it's a bunch of lap traffic, so don't mind me. Babby doing very nicely here in the silver class on debut. Ison was leading silver class previously, but he's dropped back since the pit stop, so it is Bab, Johnson and Ison in the silver class at the moment.
Yeah, Johnson given a bit of a chase here to see if he can make inroads with 16 minutes remaining. Be interesting just to see if he's maintaining this distance or if he can start closing it.
Oh, someone's dead. It is John Senekis who's dead. Oh dear, what's happened to the Honda, John? What's happened? He's in chat. Oh god, it's all gone to shit. What's happened? Tell us, John. Tell you what, Soapy Graham doing pretty well too. I don't know where he started. He wasn't inside the top 20. I'll give you the tip. I've only got the top 20 on the grid. Zach Graham up there in P18 in the Pro-Am lead, so he's doing bloody nicely too, with Angelo Gonzalez a fair 15 seconds behind and with a 30-second pen. He's not going to be catching him, that's for sure. So Zach in a pretty commanding position of the Pro-Am lead up there. This is the replay of what happened to John. Took some curb. Looks like he was off the throttle there. He's just stopped. He's just pulled over and stopped. He said, that's enough. That'll do me.
I think he had an antivirus pop up apparently.
A McAfee pop-up.
McAfee, there you go, eh?
Oh no. Why do you even have antivirus? Just Windows Defender will do you. That'll do you. Get rid of all that crap. You don't need McAfee or any of that other garbage.
Clicking those dodgy links.
That'd be it. Yeah, he does click a lot of dodgy links, so he probably needs.
You got to stop sending them to him.
No, nothing to do with me. Tell you what, some of the crap that Peach sends, it's probably him.
Hewley and Rekmat gap down now to 7/10. It's the looming Aston Martin. Got the Porsche in the mirrors, but we saw Rekmat, as quick as he is, couldn't find a way past Peach, and we'll see what he can do with Hewley. I believe it has stopped, but I don't think it's going to dry out in 14 minutes.
Yeah, that widget doesn't know what it's doing. It did say before we're going to have rain for 10 and 30, and now it's no rain for 0 and 10. And obviously with 14 minutes to go, we're not going to get that shower in 30 minutes. I wonder if there's another cheeky shower hanging out between the 0 and 10 there.
Exactly, we'll wait and see, but this here is really, really spicy now. But the Rackmat we should be able to get a opening here on Cooley, I reckon, in the Porsche. He's been fairly fast.
Watching another taxiing of the plane in the corner there.
Yeah, this plane doesn't look like it's running late. It looks like it's running on time, this one.
Yep, that's the 1010 from Tokyo. That has appeared on time. Is it going to take off again? Is that what they do, or does he just run into an invisible wall at the end of the map? What happens to that one? No, he just stops there.
Yep, stop. Good brakes on that thing.
Something that the LOR guys, I think.
Planking.exe has stopped working.
Not wrong about Fadley though. He's right up under the skin of Cooley here. In all his mirrors. I'm surprised by Cooley. I don't know whether he's got a dry setup on and hasn't quite got his hands on the wet, but he was looking really quick early on. Up there with Senekis and Fadley in that battle for well, it was a three-way battle for the lead, and then since the pit stop, since the rain, he's kind of just lost a bit of pace. I expected him to close up to Maloney, but that gap has gone from 4 seconds to 5 seconds in the last 10 minutes, so that has invited Fadley up to the rear of him, and now he's got to spend the next 12 minutes defending him, so he's got a job to do here, Cooley.
Yeah, no, Fadley's looking strong, isn't he? Imposing the Porsche lights on the shine in there, and the mirrors for Chris. It will be a bit off-putting.
Run through the classes. Obviously got Sneakers running the top of the pro class. Babby in P9 in the 666 Porsche, leading out Silver Pro-Am. We got Graham in the 63 Ferrari, and do we have any AMs? I think we do. Is it Matthews?
Yeah, I know Stu's one of them, that's for sure. I don't know how many there is. None of them started inside the top 20, and there's none currently in the top 23.
There we go. It is Matthews. Going along there in P24. Just behind Viney as well. Poor Viney. Viney was having a good race until after the first 10 minutes, and when he got punted around a few times. And
Viney's been having a good season. We were saying before that we haven't seen him in that Porsche before. It is, I think, his first season in the Porsche, and he's been driving it bloody well. So it is, yeah, unfortunate that he didn't get to capitalise on his pace tonight, because he was looking really sharp. He just kept getting slammed down into the hairpin by the Mercedes. Oh, Fadley's all over Cooley here.
Oh, there we go.
Round goes that Mercedes.
I like the Mercedes, but you guys might have to give up with that thing. I think every Mercedes I've seen have done split yellow, completely split green, raced in split blue, and I haven't seen a Mercedes really go well here.
Yeah, they're a bit behind the 8 ball, I think, and now this layout, the Mercedes. We'll see where they can go in the next week's round.
They're going to second next week, I believe.
Oh, is it?
I believe so.
Right.
Unless our race director was telling fibs.
No, I think you're right. Now that you said that, it's ringing a bell. That's going to be a very fun round too. We've got a lot of interesting occurrences here at Donington Park, but it'll be 2 times as much fun over in Laguna Seca, I would imagine. Yeah, spot on IFR. John did very well in qualifying tonight. Certainly had the pace in that Honda. Obviously didn't come together for him in the race, getting that early drive-through, but back next week, John. Have another go. Wonder what the Honda's like at Laguna. Probably not all that strong, let's be honest.
Yeah, if you think it's hard to pass here, wait until next week.
Yeah. Yep.
Laguna is not easy.
Here we go.
I do like the light challenge of Laguna. It's a very unique raceway.
Yeah, it's high on my list. Probably not top 3, but definitely in the top 5. It's a lot of fun to hot lap, especially. I don't think I've done much racing there, and as we said, like there's no way to overtake, so it's probably not particularly great for side-by-side racing, but it's certainly a lot of fun to hot lap. So looking forward to getting a week's worth of practice in for that one next week.
Oh, badly got really. I think he got a little bit sideways on the braking and really closed in, and thankfully didn't hit the rear. So we've got some blue flags to contend with. This could be make or break.
Bit of blue flag traffic here too. Stu Matthews is a very experienced blue flag, and that's nothing to say of his pace, but he's done very nicely there. Understands the situation and gets right out of the way. Nice work, Stu. Didn't cost either driver any time whatsoever, and yet it is Cooley who seems to have got a bit of an advantage from that blue flag, and it's just pulled a slight little bit of breathing room there. There's still one more to contend with up ahead. I think it's Mike Reel's BMW. It is indeed the Chico Roll entry. Mike obviously a very experienced campaigner as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps out of the way when these two come knocking.
Yeah, Sang hasn't been able to make much of an impact on sneakers. He's only brought it down by a second. JP responding as he needs to, doesn't need to push too hard. He's only got 7 minutes to bring it home.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a long 7 minutes for him, I think. It's been a fair time that he's been actually out in front without too much pressure. He's just been concentrating and battling within himself in his wet conditions. But credit to him, he's been
that's wide.
that gap. But yeah, he's definitely right wide here. Curely holding on. A dive down the inside.
Oh no! As badly sent it, and was the door closed prematurely? Was it even open? Oh, they're both still going. They both haven't really lost too much time, but might need to have a look at that with the stewards box. But we'll definitely probably see a replay of it.
Yeah, first glance racing incident. I reckon Fadley did enough to get alongside. He was obviously very aggressive in doing so, but he's got overlap there, and then
He's kind of in the middle of the circuit. He's not really right up against the inside curve. I think he might have just understeered into Keeley a bit. I think Keeley gave him the room. Yep.
Yeah, a bit slippery there as well. That's probably why I just got him a little bit, as you said, try to push, just understeer just that little bit, but see if they can get back into it, and we'll wait to see what the stewards may think of that one. We're on Lucas Keys now. He's doing a good job there in 7th position, just trying to get onto the back here, trying to make a move on the BMW with Corey. 5 minutes to go.
Bear in mind where Keys and Sang were when they were, sharing a bit too much bumper love early in the race, and they were all the way back in the lower half of the top 10. To see that Sang is now all the way back up to P2 and only 8 seconds off Sanikas. He was the first to pit, and I think he gained a lot of time through it, but it's been a very good drive from Sang as well. Ever being the ever-present Ford in JP's side.
ciao.
Ciao.
That's a good livery, Lucas. Don't know about all these bloody clown
No,
penalties. You go without the clowns, it's a really good livery. I don't know why you got to do that. You bloody
Lucas Keys is on my shit list from this week. His comments in this chat room. So if my curse powers want to work and do something right now, I will not be upset. Oh, he needs a little tippity tap.
Careful. Sweet's been in the wars the last couple of weeks, so he'll not want to get involved in too much of this. He's just defending fresh air, though. I don't think Lucas has got a way around there. And it's really just sort of compromised his exit more than anything. And Lucas he's hanging around, isn't he?
Oh, he sure is. Doing a great job.
4 minutes ago, you fight tooth and nail for everything.
Doesn't want to pick himself up another pen here, Lucas. It was looking like early another strong night for him. Started P5, but got involved in some argy-bargy early. Picked up a 15-second pen that he had to serve in the pits. He's done well to fight his way back to P7 here. The last thing he wants to do is get into the back of Corey Sweet, who, as I said, is already, I think Lucas punted him at Massano up into the hairpin. Actually, no, it was the other way around. I think it was Sweet who got one. So these two have had, they've got history.
They definitely have history, but, Corey's doing a very good job here, holding off Lucas.
Yeah, I think the race director's going to be a little bit annoyed, or Glenn, or whoever does the boards, but I mean it's the race directors that, there's the points what you get in the race, but there's going to be a few penalty points to add up, I think, this season. And dare say a few might be going to a few Mercedes, to say the least, but don't want to accrue too many of these penalty points, as it will come to bite you. Keys gets better rotation generally through the hairpin, but the grunt of the BMW is nothing to scoff at. Looks like nothing really changing up the field. Back within a second of Cooley. But only 2 minutes 30 on the board. It's going to take something pretty spectacular.
The only other thing as well at the moment in P11, Ison's just trying to creep into that top 10 with Carl, just in front of him, just under a second. So with a few more circuits around here at Donington, probably two more laps to go. There's still a little bit of time, as he's just dropped a little bit behind there on the Christmas tree, just over a second. But this battle here is well and truly on, far from over.
Speaking of the Christmas tree, Stu Matthews' consistent pace has found him up there in P23, and I was just trying to work out who's missing, and Ben in chat before posted that 55's disqualification is for a build-up of pens, not for one incident. So that's the Angelo Gonzalez Mercedes, who apparently has been disqualified for continuing to be a menace. We did see him with 30 seconds of penalties earlier on, and he must be the Mercedes who was punting Viney over and over again.
It was I know that was the car that who did we see? Who did we lambast earlier in the race that we were really not on the worst one incident? I think it was with Rashudi. That was Gonzalez as well, and that was
a bit sideways. Sweet missed the apex of the last turn there and got a little bit sideways on exit, which I thought was just going to give Keys a bit of a run, and he seems to think so too, as he shows his nose down the inside of turn 1 there, but again, no room, no space. Look at this camera angle going on in camera 2 too. I'll tell you what, the camera work from Benjamin Hignett, ladies and gentlemen, hats off. Neil Alexander obviously still number 1, but he's been doing it for a long time and has plenty of experience. Ben's just stepped up here and is absolutely dominating the cameras here in Split Red.
Been right there with a replay, so didn't even have to ask for some of them. He's already had them ready. An excellent job from Mr. Hignett behind the broadcast. I don't think Peach will get around to start another lap, so it'll be this lap plus one more for this lot on screen. Close, but will it be no cigar? Blackmat half a tenth off Cooley as well. Might need the double cam, triple cam even for when Peach crosses the line.
Yeah, Peach has rounded turn 1 and is on the final lap, so he's done a bloody good job up there, Peach. As we said earlier, he's had to fight. I thought he was going to get a crossover, not quite. Peach had to fight off Fadley and did so with pretty calm demeanour. I would have thought he didn't really have to get too. It was obviously lap 1, he was pretty slow with those Bentley tyres, taking a while to warm up, but since then he's been pretty much dominant up the front. We thought Sang might be able to really moon over the last 20 minutes, but that hasn't been the case either. So Peach really looking strong up there in P1. And
Ragman's got ahead of Keely. Oh, but he's sideways. They're going to be sideways.
Is Cooley going to get him back?
Side. Oh, he might do.
Cooley's going to have the inside line as they come up. He doesn't need it. He's just got it done before there. Nice.
Wow.
So good. Last lap, Fadley's giving it everything.
Did get ahead, but then lost it immediately. God, if he was frustrated before, he's frustrated now. So it looks like Peach is rounding the Melbourne hairpin and got one corner to go, but we'll watch the 2 battles on screen. Got 2 eyes, you can watch 2 battles at once. Be sure to hit the like button for this great racing. Well done to Peach, crosses the line, dominant display from him, faultless. But look at the race. Who's it going to be for P3? And he goes around the outside, but Cooley just has to park it on this exit and does so.
Meanwhile, camera 2 saying, sorry, Keys had a good old crack around the outside too. So, Fadley a 10th off getting through there, and then Keys had a red hot dip around the outside, and it looks like again he's just gone. No. Turn him around. There we go. Let him go. All right, all's fair. He's still going to cop a pen for that, but Sweet gets to hang on to P6. Goodness gracious, that would have been.
Battle resumes at Laguna Seca next week.
Those two are going to stay away from each other. I'm going to put them in separate corners facing the wall next week.
Absolutely. As Babby comes across in P8, Carl Johnson in P9, and Ison makes up the top 10. Look at the gaps. Half a tenth between Rackmat and Cooley at the line. Amazing stuff. Thank you to everyone who's all put this together. Hit the like button. Fantastic racing from Split Red, SRO Asia.
Tell you what, I wouldn't mind getting Cookie and Alexis Bowen to give us some feedback if they watch the replay of this one tomorrow. They're not in chat, but they said that Split Blue tonight was some of the greatest racing that they have ever seen. I would contest that Split Red tonight was bloody just right up there, and chat is agreeing.
Yeah, I think we had our fair share of a lot of interesting thing going on. Cars sideways. I think that where that obviously added to that excitement as well. And obviously at the end there, we had 2 battles up in that top 10, where, as you said, Cam, you could use your 2 eyes looking at those 2 battles for those last 2 laps, which was awesome.
Pro class victory to Jean-Pierre Senekis, followed by Sang. Sang's a bloody good effort getting back up there into P2 after his early wars. But my driver of the day is Tom Maloney, coming from P8, keeping his nose clean, not getting involved in too much nonsense, and finishing in P3 in Pro Class. Silver Class win to Bab on debut in Split Red. That's a bloody good effort too, considering the strong pace in this split. Carl Johnson, P2, and Ison, P3 in Silver Class. Pro-Am was led by Zach Graham by a long way too, 20 seconds clear up there. And I think he was followed along by 2 other drivers in Pro-Am, whose names I will get to if Ben leaves us over there, but he won't. Matthews, P1, Kwan, P2 in Am class. It was Rockford, P2, and Lior, P3 in the Pro-Am class. Thank you, Benjamin. Yeah, go watch that one back, Alexis and George, and let me know what you think. Split Blue, very, very strong tonight, but that was quality racing from Split Red. A little bit bloody, a little bit messy there at times, but very highly entertaining.
Micro gives us a few Chico roll donuts, as he also does at the end of the thing. Also, shout out to the endurance event. A couple of weeks, it's going to be starting the Italian job, and sign-ups are open right now for the 3 rounds starting at Monza on June 1st. Come race, come be a part of that one. Should be smashing time.
Yeah, don't want to miss that one, so it should be a good event.
Spot on, lads. Thanks to Simrigs again. Simrigs always getting behind us. Good to have Sean Muller back on deck too. Those of us who have wished him well over the last couple of weeks will be happy to know that he's on the mend. That's good. And, I think that's about it. We've got North America tomorrow at lunchtime, so come back for one more serving of Donington around about lunchtime, our time. But that's just about it. My name's Jamie Conboy signing off. Thank you, Neil Haynes.
Thanks, Jamie.
And late entry, Cam Thistlethwaite. Very good from you, mate.
No worries. Cheers to be here, and thank you again to the excellent work from Benjamin Hignett behind the broadcast for both splits. Cracking job. They've made every bit of enjoyable, all that entertainment as nice to view as Mike Real goes along. But we'll catch you next week for Laguna Seca. Thank you from me, thank you from Neil and Jamie and Ben, and have a good one. Bye-bye.